Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Mage the Ascension the Victorian Age, here on Dork Tales. This is Chapter 3 of The Devil and the Doves. I'm your storyteller, Kelly, and I am very excited to be here tonight because this is the first game since we got back from vacation, where we just took the longest vacation in the history of the channel. We haven't been on stream in about 2 weeks with the exception of Extra Life, which hopefully you tuned in for, because fantastic charity event. So, I use he and him pronouns, and this game is all about these lovely players that I will introduce you to in just a moment, though. Before I begin, I just want to give a quick content warning. Tonight's episode contains scenes of gore, as well as horrific violence, and implied sexualized violence, as well as child endangerment. These things will occur in the middle of the game. I'll warn you all before the scene begins. And yeah, I just thought that I would give you that notice so that you could watch at your own comfort level. If it's something that is uncomfortable for you, come back later, and it will be fine. But take care of yourself on that one. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce everybody inside of the game here. Let's go ahead and start with Christine.
Hello, I'm Christine. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm playing Evelyn Taylor tonight. Evelyn is our Etherdyne engineer / beginning of the Sons of Ether sort of thing. Hasn't really happened yet, but it's kind of getting there.
Nice. All right. Hello, Amy.
Hello, I'm Amy. I use she, her, or they, them pronouns, and I will be playing Chastity Prudence Goodwin of the Celestial Chorus and the Cult of Ecstasy.
All right. Hey, Jen.
Hi, I'm Jen, and I use she, her pronouns, and I am playing Josephine Carrington, the hermetic who doesn't believe in paradox.
Because paradox doesn't exist.
No, it's the straights after all.
The straights. Yeah, damn the straights. All right. And finally, hey, Robin, how's it going?
I'm doing well. My throat's a bit scratchy for some reason. I don't know why, so I apologize in advance for that this episode. But hello, everyone. I'm Robin. I use she, her, or they, them pronouns. And tonight I am playing Darcy Harkness, our member of the Verbena.
All right. So, folks, before we begin, is there anything that you need to be reminded of? Because it has been a soft break for us.
I think so. We ended after getting beat up by a ghost and beating a ghost with some sort of police officer sort of guy coming looking for us.
So Havildar Dinesh Mani showed up, a member of the Chakravanti, a group of mages known for being incredibly lethal cultists. They are connected to the Thuggee of India, and generally most traditionalists don't have a positive opinion of them, partially because they use strange Eastern customs, and in this day and age no one in the West really approves of those type of things, but also simply because they are, in a word, death cultists. However, this one seemed to be fairly polite, and I believe he brought you some food as he arrived as well.
He brought breakfast. I would like to remind the chat that despite me not doing the makeup, because that felt like it would take forever, Josephine is covered in weird bruises.
Although, yeah, the damage is mostly healed, thankfully.
Yeah, the damage is healed, but you said the bruises were going to
The bruises have
stick
not
around
yet
for a bit.
healed.
Yeah.
All right, so folks, we are going to go ahead and start game right now. I would also like to let you know that we had channel purchases off during Extra Life, but they should be back on again. And also, there is a new one on there that if you've saved up all of your points, there is a special one here that allows me to give all of the players an extra point of experience at the end of the night. It's expensive, and it can only happen 3 times a night from 3 different people. But if you like the game, it's a good place to spend your points. All right.
Buy us XP so we can buy new skills.
It's true. All right.
They're so expensive.
So, folks, we're going to be hopping in, and I know it's been a couple of weeks, so those of you who have, Robin, you're still new to Mage, so if you need to ask any questions about how the game functions, I know you're still getting the hang of this, so just feel free to ask. And with that in mind, we are going to start Chapter 3, wherein a most gruesome murder is investigated. All right, but first, here's a story of something that's happening elsewhere. The parlor was in more disarray than it had ever been in Mr. Sutcliffe's memory. Mrs. Sutcliffe had suffered hysterics and was sleeping off the effects of a strong draught of laudanum administered by the doctor, which left Mr. Sutcliffe alone with the unexpected visitor. The man before him took his coffee black with 4 sugar cubes and smiled at the maid, Mrs. Heathrow, with the broad, brown smile of a lifetime drinker of the stuff. Mr. Sutcliffe couldn't stand coffee or tea, save for the herbals, and stuck to seltzer water and lemonade whenever possible. But there was decorum to consider, and a guest is a guest, even one that arrived without notice or ceremony, even one that the butler had almost turned away before the man had flashed a badge, revealing him as a special investigator from the police department. As Mr. Sutcliffe sat nervously in his chair, his foot swishing back and forth like a metronome where it crossed his knee, he studied the man, not terribly tall, but broad and strong. He wore his hair cut high and tight. Steel gray had overthrown his temples, and it had begun its assault on the rest of his mane. A broad iron gray mustache twitched back and forth as he enjoyed his beverage. Eventually, Mr. Sutcliffe could take it no longer. How was your coffee?" he asked, trying to keep the annoyance from his voice. "Delicious," the investigator said, slurping the last dregs down. He set the cup back on its saucer with a clatter that frayed Mr. Sutcliffe's already damaged nerves. "Mr. Inspector, if you please. Pardon me. Inspector Donahue. I've seen your picture in the broad pages. You've made quite a name for yourself keeping illicit vice and other influence of immigrants and the Orient away from our fair city." "Ah, yes, the price of success. You can't listen to all of those rags." "Yes, well, I'm not sure how any of that directly relates to me." "Well, my specialty covers all manner of vice, including trafficking." You don't mean?" Mr. Sutcliffe grew pale. "I do. I believe your daughter was kidnapped by a man posing as one Mr. Thaddeus Dashwood." "Dashwood?" Mr. Sutcliffe stroked his chin in thought. "Yes, I've met the man. Are you certain? He seemed of good breeding." "As I said," Inspector Donahue continued, "I believe the kidnapper was posing as Mr. Dashwood. I've been informed via wire, and am of the understanding that the real Mr. Dashwood is abroad in Europe presently. And unless he has access to some type of locomotion that you and I are unaware of, that would be impossible, would it not?" "I see." A long pause punctuated the atmosphere. "And what is it exactly you're wanting from me?" "Mr. Sutcliffe, I require but the funding to pursue my investigation away from the police force. I will also need access to your daughter's room, and that of her companion," he added after a pause. That caught Mr. Sutcliffe off guard. "Miss Goodwin, you're not implying? No, surely she had nothing to do with it. She's a good girl, naive and uneducated, and quite ignorant of things, yes, but of sound moral character." "If she was not of the plot herself, then all the more reason to give me the access. Can you imagine what will be done when her common nature is revealed? I can imagine a kidnapper wouldn't expect you to pay for a maid." Mr. Sutcliffe watched the inspector for a long time, analyzing every whisker, wrinkle, and pock-marked pore. "And you can guarantee results?" At that moment, the inspector knew he had won, and his eyes lit up. "Of course. I'm a student of cutting-edge modern investigative methods, developed by Scotland Yard and perfected right here with American ingenuity. I not only guarantee results, I guarantee satisfaction. The kidnappers, Mr. Sutcliffe said, swallowing thickly. What will you do when you find them? I'm a godly man, and I wish harm to none. Inspector Donahue smiled beneath his steel gray mustache like a fox given access to the coop. Oh, my good man, my good man. Isn't justice a virtue? But our story takes place further across the water. For as we dive into this, you've all rested, having taken a bit of time to recover from your night dealing with that ghost, preparing to put it to its final rest, or perhaps sending it over to visit relatives. I think that will be decided shortly. Pardon me, I'm going to have a sip of my coffee.
I have been chided for my lack of fans, so one moment.
All right. You have tons of fans. What are you talking about?
Apparently, one specifically that
One specifically?
is required. Yeah. I mean, it might be Charlie. Charlie might be the fan that's
right.
required.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm just going to open
Charlie
my
is
window
the
a tiny bit. One sec.
Oops.
Oops. Yeah, that's a big oops there. But big oops, Chastity. Big oops.
Big oops.
Big oops.
Big oofs.
Big
Big
oops.
oops.
Big oops.
Also big oops.
Also,
Big
lots of
oofs, yeah.
Moderate of both.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, the chat wants fan service.
This is the fan service.
Yes.
Yeah.
Big hoofs, perhaps.
Big oops. Ooh, that's
right.
what I'm talking about.
I think it's really funny, just out of character before, while Christine's grabbing that fan, how much stage fright builds up over just 2 weeks off. It's really funny. It's like I do this professionally all the time, but the moment I have to come back to this after taking any time off, even after doing Extra Life less than like a week ago,
Yeah.
it's just different when you really care about something, you know?
Yeah,
Yep.
that's true.
Yeah.
Very true.
Did she go after?
For the record, I was also feeling some of the stage fright of just like,
Oh, can she
we're
not-
back.
We're back.
Did she find it?
Did you find it? Yay!
Yes.
Okay.
Ooh, that's lovely. Oh, I like that.
All right.
My sandalwood one.
Ooh.
Couldn't find the usual one. It got put away, I think, when we cleaned up for Extra Life.
All right. So with that, we're going to hop into game. The next morning, you gathered outside, dealt with what needed to be done at the well, exhumed the body. And as you were doing so, you were approached by a man of Indian descent who introduced himself as Havildar Dinesh Money. Where we will pick off is right after he informs you that he brought you breakfast. I have taken the liberty of bringing some breakfast, some dosas, some rice porridge. If you're adventurous, a bit of curry.
Ooh, I
Although-
love curry.
Although where we are going, breakfast might be a mistake. Would you care to
Yeah.
eat?
I'll have some.
I don't know when we'll be eating next, so I would be very rude to turn down this lovely food you've brought us.
I think better generally on a full stomach.
He will nod and wait for you to direct him to where he can set the food down. A few moments later, you're all led to the old dining hall inside of Teddy's uncle's estate. The food comes in these in the combination of wicker and tin bins that he stacks across and feeds out on plates to you, with spoons that he brought himself. The plates require a quick dusting, and Mai and Vivian are happy to assist as well. Teddy sits at the table, bleary-eyed, pours himself a glass of wine that survived the night.
Isn't it a little early for that?
Is it?
It is if you
different wine?
sleep.
I was gonna say, does the day count if we haven't gone to sleep yet?
I mean,
Well, then this is a
Yes.
wine I got from the cellar downstairs. There's plenty of wine around. It's just that not all of it's good. This is what, a Bordeaux? A Bordeaux? He looks across the table. The label's rubbed off. It's red and it's good. Who wants to get drunk?
After my experience last night, I think I'm gonna pass.
I think I'll save it for later.
I'm a little worried it's gonna turn into blood if I try and drink it, so maybe later.
That's a weird if, but
Did you
Okay.
not see the other bottle in the study? The
I mean, red wine is red wine.
it has a distinctive smell.
Whatever. So what is this stuff? Why did you bring us? Shit, that's spicy. How do you?
Evelyn
eat
will
this?
just eat it calmly. It's delicious.
I was hoping that you would be able to come with me after the meal. I have a carriage that will take us. I have rented for the day. There's been a murder committed at Mile End Road in Stephanie.
How did you know we were here?
You could say a little bird told me.
She just looks very confused.
Suspicious little.
She's gonna try and put that together.
I was led here by Kali.
Okay.
Goddess.
Okay.
Oh,
Aye.
interesting.
Also, your names were present at the murder.
Yeah, that's the part I don't understand.
Understand that.
Nor I. That is why I'm here.
Are you from the police?
No. 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 I do investigative work for the traditions, for the local council. Unfortunately, much of the council is busy at the moment, contending with the Order of Reason. There was significant tension following the incidents at Whitechapel a few years ago. As it stands, some recent occurrences have further diluted the manpower inside of London. If possible, I would prefer not to say much more about the crime before we go there. I would hate to influence your opinions.
I can understand that.
I must warn you, what you will see is shocking. I have the place blocked off at the moment. But soon enough, the actual police will come. It will take us almost an hour by carriage to reach Stephanie.
So
So,
we should leave quickly.
although I do believe that food is important. I offer this to you freely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let us be honest with each other and work together in the nature of community. Anyone who likes to can make me a perception and empathy roll.
Yes, please.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah, please.
All right. Difficulty on this is going to be difficulty 6, but it's going to be a contested roll.
Okay, so if I don't have empathy,
Then empathy is just a basic skill, so you just roll without it.
okay, cool. I'm sorry, what difficulty 6 you said?
Difficulty 6. That means you're shooting for 6s.
Perception and empathy? Okay.
Yes.
And we were still allowing that 10s explode, right?
Only if you have a specialty.
Only specialties, okay. 2 successes then.
2 successes. Okay.
That's
You as well.
3.
3 as well.
3 successes. Okay. Anyone get more than 3? Okay. All right. So, for Evelyn and Josephine, as you're looking at this, your chief concern immediately is this man going to drug us? Probably. Is there something wrong with this food? What is the purpose of this? And looking at this and his attitude, you get positive vibes from him. Whatever this is, he seems like a somewhat threatening, in that as he sits, you see that he has to adjust a large curve-bladed short sword, almost sized knife at his hip that he keeps obscured under his long coat. But besides the fact that he's wielding a rather large weapon that anyone who is versed, if you have weaponry 2, you'll immediately recognize it as a kukri. Okay. If not, then it's a big curved weapon that looks like a machete that got bent midway through.
Giant knife.
Giant knife, right? Those of you who got 3 successes will see that, yes, this is a freely offered gift of community. You're also pretty sure it's part of some type of ritual. Given the intonation, you think that it is probably there. It's probably to help him set up a future ritual to monitor you for lies.
Like the act of sharing a meal.
Yeah. He's been
Okay.
honest and charitable with you, so if you are not likewise with him later, he might be able to notice. Definitely one of the nicer of these type of rituals. Also, I will say, the food, if you are a fan of Indian cooking, this is really solid. Like, this is, I wouldn't say maybe the best you've ever had in your life, but given that it is early morning, you are sleeping off ghost beatings and a hangover, this is probably top tier. And if you haven't had Indian food before, such as Darcy or probably Chastity, and
Possibly me.
I think Josephine, roll a d10, and on a 6 or higher, you've had it.
I think that's one of the things that Evelyn's really been enjoying about living in London is the sheer variety of food that she never got to have in Canada.
Darcy, this is probably like she's probably like Teddy, where it's like,
Or maybe not. I mean, like, your family, Irish food is definitely mealier than English. Well, it doesn't really have spices, though.
it doesn't have spices, so this is probably like her first time having like spicy, like hot pepper based kind
Yeah,
of.
so like hot pepper based. I think Irish tend to have a fair amount of pepper though.
Yeah, same with the
Black
Scottish,
pepper,
right?
so that's
They've
a
got
different type
haggis.
of spice.
Yeah, it's a different. Yeah, it's a little bit milder, not quite the like intense.
Well,
I
I
did-
don't know. Haggis can be pretty spicy.
Haggis is a kick in the mouth.
True,
Yep.
true.
So it's a different sort of spice than you're used to.
Yeah, it's a
but
different spice, but yeah.
I did get a 6. So Josephine has had this before. And I think she generally likes it. So she's just like, oh yeah, breakfast. This is delicious.
It's fantastic, really. There are a lot of fried breads here. There is naan inside of there as well as the doses. So there are like some starches there that really will go through, as well as saffron rice, which is quite a delicacy and quite expensive in this day and age, particularly.
Yeah.
It's still expensive in this day and age.
Yes, but even more so back then. Think about
Yeah.
the saffron
yeah.
trade, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Which Evelyn is going to be quite cheery and excited that there is saffron rice.
Chastity will try it out. She's probably leaning away from the spicier foods and going for like the naan and the rice.
it is more delicate of a flavor than you probably are used to. Quite interesting to you.
Did you make this yourself?
Yes.
It's delicious.
This is
Really
great.
good.
This is
Thank
nothing
you.
like I've had before.
Thank you. After I left the military, I traveled here with my sister. She married a local, and I set up shop. You should come by sometime.
What's it called?
Dosselan Coffee House. Also good coffee. I'm sorry that I didn't bring any. I did not realize that this place would not have proper provisions.
Well,
Quite all right.
it's been abandoned for quite some time, it seems. And
Yes.
You were just in
but
need.
this was a lovely wake up after ghost hunting all night.
So, what time are we leaving? Mai says, looking across the table at this man with a bit of a leer. You get the sense that there's icicles in her mind at the moment. Actually, I was hoping to just take the young ladies with me. Oh, where are you now? I will have them back. You have my word?
You can have Bran. He knows when things are going wrong with me. He has that sense about him. If the cat is cold, is stable, he'll let you know if things are going amiss. If that would make you more comfortable, May.
Vivian clears his throat. And Dr. Taylor. I would like to have a conversation with you sometime after you return.
I would as well, yes.
Particularly about some of the items that you managed to smuggle.
I think so. That would be wise.
I think it best if you leave them here. Perhaps hide them away in case you worry that I might cut and run. I have no intention of doing so. But I can see that a woman in your predicament might be safe to assume the worst of everyone, even your friends.
Thank you.
Well,
She will pop up and go find the things, and she'll hand him a rough sketch of what she'd seen of the. I wasn't able to bring these, but I'm quite good at memorizing.
may I?
That's a rough. I can make a more detailed one when I get back.
He will push his plate aside with a clatter, and as he does, he is sitting framed by the back window in this dining room. Light is streaming in through the old bird shit speckled windows that are casting a gray hue into this ghost of a room, this skeleton. But it's enough that as he unrolls in his large hands this blueprint that you worked on, anyone who's sitting nearby can see through the paper if they wish. Give me a perception and alertness, or perception and investigation, whichever you prefer.
Is that a me included, or?
No, you drew these, so you saw them exactly. You know what's up.
Okay.
Alertness? Okay.
So it's difficulty of 7 to make sense of what's there.
Oh.
I just need 1 success.
I got many 4s and 5s.
I got a 10.
No.
You got a 10?
A 10.
Okay. So the other two of you, as you're looking through, it looks like it's drawings of a man. You see the outline of a body, that's for sure. But Darcy, sitting near enough by, you can see that as the light strikes this and illuminates this, they're sketches of the human form. Not dissimilar to the Vitruvian Man from Da Vinci's sketchbook. But what you'll notice as he flips through it and unfurls layers of this wax paper and broad print paper, that the bones are too thick. The skeleton is presented separately. It looks like diagrams for inserting a new skeleton into someone. That's all you can get through a quick glance through the paper. There's particular focus to that, paid though. This is horrific. You sure this is what you saw, Doctor?
We have quite a good memory for copying.
Have you ever seen anything like this before?
I don't think so. Unless it was broken down into pieces.
We'll talk more about this later.
Yes.
I haven't seen anything like this for about... man. It's been over 50 years since the last version of these were made. And they didn't look anything like this. Pardon me. Pass the bread, please. Naan. It's pronounced nan. Pass the naan, then. Oh, there's cheese in it. Yes, it does. Would you care for some sour cream? The rest of the meal continues accordingly. What do the rest of you do?
Chastity is going to go and sit over next to Teddy. And we'll try out a little bit of the wine with some of the curry and see how that goes. She's experimenting a little bit.
It's a pretty mild red, to be honest. A little bit flat. Definitely like hints of, well, what's your perception score?
Perception is 2.
Hints of grape. Hints of fruit. It's fruity. It tastes like wine that's probably more expensive than you're used to, and that's about as far as you can taste it.
All right. She's more interested in just seeing if it pairs well with the curry.
I think that anything pairs well with this curry.
Nice.
I think that like a spicier red would probably be better, or like, or no, you don't think so, Robin?
No,
what
spicy and spice would clash. You'd want a sweeter red would go
Sweeter
really
red.
well.
My
because it actually
apologies.
toned down the spiciness of the curry.
Okay, well that's good to know. That's good to see. This is why describing wine with Robin in the room is very difficult.
Yeah.
I know. I'm sorry.
I watch your face constantly. I'm like, okay, because it's awful.
Yeah.
It's
So
like
she's gonna
when you're
try that
describing
out.
medical with Caitlin in the room.
Oh no,
Yeah.
it's awful.
So she's gonna actually take the time to enjoy that and try and see if she can prep herself for a mind shield in case she needs to.
Do you still have a mind shield on from previous days?
Would it have lasted that long? She did have one up.
Did you put enough duration into it? I can't remember.
I can't remember either. I was assuming I'd have to recast it because she was gonna do other effects overnight, which I think we talked about off screen, but didn't actually follow up
Okay.
with.
I think the only one who had any spells up with any sort of length was Darcy.
Yeah, and I dropped my strength, but I still have the outer vision, the
Oh, you still have magic sight on, yeah.
magic sight. Thank you, that one. I still have that up because that was a day, but I dropped the physical one.
Yeah, because during the night, one of the things Chastity wanted to do was retrieve some of those magical imbued mushrooms and then go wander around and see what actually happened in the past. We talked about after last session. We didn't.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. That may have to wait until you get back, because I think everybody did say they slept.
Yeah. Okay.
But that's fine. You'll have plenty of time once you get back. And Jen,
Sure.
you said you had no effects up?
No, yeah, all of mine were first scene only, so
Okay.
they dropped
Yeah.
after.
So in that case, Chastity's just going to be prepping herself for a mind shield because she wants to be able to be mentally fortified when she goes into this. Just basically, she wants to she's drinking some wine, she's got good food, she's enjoying herself, and that is a focus.
That's enough of a focus.
Enough of a focus, and she's surrounded by people, she enjoys their company. Yeah, there's her focus. She's going to go and fortify for this.
Okay, that sounds great. So why don't we go ahead and figure out what this was going to be? So
Sure.
that's going to be, this is going to be elegant for a mind shield. So it's mind 2. You're going to be at difficulty of 5 for this.
Okay.
And are you using any unique foci or specialty instruments?
I wasn't planning on it. I think she was just
Okay.
using what she had.
Sure, you can take extra time to lower the difficulty by 1. So you're down to difficulty 4. And how many successes are you shooting for?
She wants it to last throughout this investigation, so
Okay.
I do not have my little chart next to me for what successes do for time.
I just had remembered that mine was put away, so.
I almost forgot mine, but grabbed it.
Mine is
Okay.
over there. I'll have to grab it. in a
So
moment.
for a day, you'd want 3 successes.
I think
and
she's
then-
aiming for a day.
Okay, so you need at
Probably.
least 3 successes, and then everything else would be base power. So we'll say 2 successes for duration, because the first success is for a turn anyway. But
Okay.
I'll also count that toward your base power.
Okay.
And each one will add to your difficulty to be overwhelmed by mind magic. So I would say go for 5 successes.
Okay. So I'm rolling my arret for this.
You are. You can also spend a willpower if you'd like.
Do I want to spend willpower yet? Yeah, I'm going to spend a willpower. I have a few of them. What else do I need?
And also, I believe that people in the chat can buy willpower for the players as well, if you want.
Cool. All right, well, I'm just going to roll these 3 dice that I have for my arret, and we'll see. What was I aiming for? 4?
Your difficulty 4.
Yeah. In this case, do 10s explode in magic?
Yes, we decided that they exploded or just counted as 2. Your call.
Okay. So right now I'm at 3 successes.
Okay.
One of them's a 10. So
Okay. So you can take that at 2, or you can re-roll.
I'm going to take the 2. I'm
Okay,
going to
so
take
you're,
the 2. So that's
you're
4.
at 4. So
Yeah.
you're almost there. You can continue rolling at difficulty 5. And
I think I'll
Chastity, you just gained a
that,
willpower
yeah.
point from the chat.
Ooh, thanks. Thanks, chat.
From Krista.
And, nope, none in that one. But no.
At difficulty 5?
Yeah, I rolled a 2, and a 3.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right, so you could continue rolling if you chose at a difficulty of 6.
I think she's going to try one more time.
Okay.
Yeah. And yes, that's an 8 and a 10. So there's another 3.
All right. So how many total?
That should be
So 4 on the first?
4 on the first, and that was 3. So 7.
Okay, so 7 successes. Do you want to put the extra successes into power or duration?
If she's already got it for a day, then I think she'll put it into power.
Okay, so that means that you'll have 5 levels of power on that, we'll say.
Sure. However, that means for mental.
It's
Shielding and
rather
fortitude.
complicated. It basically means that what's your willpower score?
Her willpower is 5.
Depending on what I do, I have to overcome willpower 10 now.
Oh, well, that's nice. Okay,
Nice.
let's do that.
Because mind magic gets kind of weird for overcoming and controlling people's thoughts.
Okay.
but it also
Awesome.
means it's quite potent, we'll say. Evelyn,
Yay.
you also gained a point of willpower from the chat. All right. With that, you enjoy the rest of your meal, and as you do, Teddy is going to pour wine for anybody else who wants it. Anyone else? Wine? Wine?
Ah, why not? I'll give it a try.
Goes pretty well with the
Atta
curry.
girl. Put a little bit of blush in the cheeks.
She blushes.
I already got it. Perfect. So, Stage whispers to you. Chastity, do you think you can trust this guy?
I think it doesn't particularly matter. But, and she'll pull out something out of her, I think she's got a bit of a satchel because she's got her Bible tucked in it and like a couple other things. And her riding crop is attached to her belt. She's probably gonna actually pull out, I think she's gonna pull out a handkerchief. And she's gonna pass it over to Teddy. I don't know if she knows that Teddy can't do any correspondence at all without his focus.
Okay.
But she's gonna give it to him as a if you need to track me or find me, just in case.
Roger.
Sorry. How far did Evelyn get with the compass at the end of last session?
You know that you can basically, you just need to spend some time doing the fine tuning. Some of the markings and wear on it hasn't been repaired, but the mechanism's good. So he might be able to use it with some difficulties.
Okay. Mr. Dashwood.
Yeah.
So
Doctor.
I haven't done the fine tuning yet, but your compass is at least working.
Oh.
I need to spend some more time on it to finalize the repairs, but
Certainly. Well, when you get back tonight, I would love to talk about it with you. Maybe if you can repair it. I've seen the way that you kind of repair things. The engraving on the back got damaged in the fall. I don't know if that's something.
oh yes, I
Good.
can do that.
Great. That sounds fantastic. That sounds very, very good. I look forward to this. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you for your help.
You're welcome.
I will have a bottle of wine waiting as payment, as well as my wholehearted thanks for getting that stupid thing repaired.
If we don't make it back by this evening, please look for us.
Oh, absolutely. I figure someone should stay here with you know who.
Yes. She's gonna put both hands on his shoulders and be like, please look after her.
She won't remember a thing.
Okay. Okay. And she'll just like awkwardly hands like, oh, okay. And she'll just settle them in her lap.
I wonder where the nearest pharmacist is. I could. Huh? She's not allergic to anything, right? Like she should be fine with a little bit of alcohol, some cannabis.
I think she should be fine.
Good. Good.
How
What?
are we going to explain that we're in London?
I am going to get her high as hell. She's not going to care what planet she's on, let alone what city she's in. Besides, she'll probably be
And on
hysterical.
shoulder.
What? It's okay. She'll be hysterical, and we have remedies for that.
Thank you.
It's no problem. I mean, I'm going to take some too. It's going to be great.
A little bit envious.
Do you want me to pick
I
you
have
up
to
one?
go.
I'll pick you up one. I hear that
Oh, please.
I hear London's really good at drugging people.
Okay.
Evelyn does not dispute that.
They kind of lead the world in it. Well, I mean, that in Hong Kong. Hong Kong, well, in Shanghai. Different kind. Anyway, enough of that. At this point, you can see that Dinesh Mani is beginning to slowly pack up what needs to be packed up. You can leave that here. I'll take care of it while you're out, so long as the water's working. I think I can get the pipes up and running by then, at least for the pump. That would be much appreciated. I will reclaim my belongings when I drop the young ladies off. Shall we?
Just one moment. I'll be right back. And
Of course.
Josephine's gonna head off and just do her little ritual for Prime Sight, because I would like to have Prime Sight for the day.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah. So yeah, let's see here. Stuff. So I can't remember how to calculate the magic stuff, and I know you just went through it with Chastity, but
All right, so for Prime Sight, that is going to be difficulty 5.
Okay.
And if you have a specialty instrument, that'll lower the difficulty by 1. You don't really have time to take additional time since you're just running off to a side room. So it'll be difficulty 5 or 4 if you have one of those. And if you spend quintessence, you can lower it by 1 per dot down to a minimum of 3. Or maximum of 3, I suppose.
okay. I'm just going to
And for this,
Just
what you look
give me
for
the
is
list.
3 successes.
cool. Yeah, I'm just going to roll the dice, and how much willpower do I have? Yeah, I'll spend a willpower.
Sounds good.
Ooh. That is 3 successes, exactly.
Okay, so you will have Prime Sight on for the day.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, congratulations.
Little gold, little gold. It's
All right.
alchemically purified gold, so you know it's important.
All right, so how does she go about doing that? Like, what is the methodology?
So yeah, put my glasses back on in the wig. There we go. She goes off and she grabs her kit, and she's got her little jar of alchemically purified gold, which helps her connect with quintessence and the essence of the world and stuff like that. And she says, "Oculus me ad veritatem aperio, angelos praeter video," which is, "I open my eyes to the truth, I see beyond angels," in Latin.
Nice.
And puts that on her eyelids and blinks a couple times, and then can see prime magic.
Perfect. So you can see magic in motion. So as you do that, you will return to the group and we'll be pretty much good to go. Is there anything else that you want to do before you head out, everyone?
I think I'm good.
I think so.
I have a quick question potentially. So for doing the life magic to give like enhance abilities, do you have to have a dot in the thing you want to?
Not even a little bit.
Cool. Then
This is why the system is great, because congratulations, you can spoof anything.
yeah, if we're gonna go investigate a murder, I think Darcy would probably want to would I
To have
want
some
to do investigation or like
I don't know, you're called. You can only do
Yeah.
one, and you can't do more than one at a time according to the rules in the Verbena book.
Yeah, I know. I have that up right now. I was reading that when I saw you sent that to the chat.
I
So
know.
yeah, I would like to increase investigation.
Sounds good. All right, so what this is going to be difficulty of... It'll still be elegant because you could just be very good at putting together clues. So that will be difficulty of 6. You have your mother's book, so that'll be difficulty of 5. And how many effects do you have up right now? You have...
I just have the prime site for
This
the
is the site? All right, so
Yeah.
then that'll be difficulty of 5.
Cool.
For this, you would need 3 successes to raise it by 1 for the day. So you need at least 3 successes. I would say shoot for 4 and hope you get extras. Okay. You can spend quintessence to make that difficulty 4 if you want.
How common do I have to? Again, new to the system. How often, generally, does quintessence get?
In this day and age, if you find nodes, it's a bit easier. You also have points of TAS on you that you could consume to generate quintessence. So you could eat one of those magic mushrooms. You could eat some of the grave moss.
Eat magic mushrooms, get better at investigation. Yes.
Just like Sherlock Holmes.
Just like Sherlock Holmes.
Get high, solve crimes.
Yep.
You know,
She
be
might do
Gager,
that,
do
actually.
crimes, get high, solve crimes. Boom. Perfect combination.
Boom. So yeah, she might eat a magic mushroom.
Sounds fantastic. Oh my god, this is going to be fantastic. Okay, so that will lower the difficulty by 1 as you consume that. You put this mushroom on your tongue. As you're preparing to get up, you flip open your book and begin flipping through it, calling out to the ancient magics that bind or that are bound inside of that old leather tome. And as you do, you place this mushroom on your tongue, feeling a shiver of energy as it dissolves into a foaming froth like sea foam on your tongue. It's salty and musty and tastes like a combination of death. Not like death, but of death. Like rot, like licking the inside of that smell of rotting leaves that accumulates near rotten wood in the forest. Like loam, and also, strangely, like a bit of cinnamon. And then it is just going to kind of pulse into your body as you roll. So I would like you to go ahead and give me a roll. You're down to difficulty 4. You're looking for 4 successes.
Cool. Okay.
What'd you get?
Well, I rolled a 10, a 6, and then a 1.
Okay. So the 1 will subtract from the 6. You can take the 10 as 2 successes, and you're halfway there.
Yeah, I will do that.
Okay, go ahead. And so you can continue again at difficulty 5.
Yep.
Okay. And you can spend a willpower for an automatic success, if you choose.
Yeah, I have 3 left. Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. At the end of any scene, by the way, if you feel that you have roleplayed your nature very well, you can remind me, and I can reward you a point of willpower if I agree.
Okay. That's another... It was 5, difficulty 5, right?
Difficulty of 5 for this one, yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. So 2 successes then.
Okay. Sounds good.
4.
All right, so you'll have 4, so you will have 2 points of investigation for the remainder of the day.
Perfect. Awesome.
Okay. All right. So, Josephine, as you re-enter the room, you will see Darcy flipping through her book of shadows. She places looks like a bit of kind of slightly fuzzy, moldy mushroom on her tongue, and you will see a burst of quintessence inside of her mouth as she does so. The mushroom is glowing in your sight with golden light, and as she consumes it, she slowly builds a magical effect using a sphere that I don't think you identify.
I do not.
But as you do, you will see it kind of flow over her. It kind of focuses on her eyes and mind as her head is suffused with this fuzzy, glowing energy for a moment. And then it just fades into her, becoming one with her pattern, and slowly fades from your active sight. I hate to say so, but perhaps it is time we got going. The cab is waiting.
I'm all set.
Ready to go?
I'm good.
Perfect. I'm sorry, did I speak over you? No? Then let us go. With that, he smiles and leads you outside, where a large cab suited for a family is waiting. The driver, another man of Eastern origin, his face bound around with a scarf, his hat pulled down, exposing just a bit of the dark flesh in the gap, turns to you and blows through the scarf into his hands. It took bloody long enough. Sorry. There will be a gratuity. And with that, you load up into the carriage and begin your trek across the city. It is an awful day for a carriage journey. For it's the time of day in London, here nearing the 10th bell of morning, that the fog is clinging to the ground. By the time you make it into some of the slummier areas, some 6 miles away, crossing over from Notting Hill toward Stepney. Is it Stepney or Steepney? I'm not sure. I think it's Stepney. And toward Mile End Road. You see that the mud roads that make up London in this age are, well, judging by smell, not mud at all. The smell of ammonia is harsh in the air, and as you drive deeper into the slums along these main roads, you can see layers of shit everywhere. Pushed to the side of the road in clumps like, well, back in the country, you would potentially see snow piled across outside of churches and merchant shops during cold winter days. But here, it's piss and shit as far as you can see this time of day. People dumping their troughs out right into the center of the lane. Horses shit frequently and constantly, and the smell of manure is rife in the air. Looking ahead of you, you can all see out the front of this carriage, which is open-faced, and the fog is clinging to you and to every part of London. Now, to call it fog is to give fog a bad name, for this is the rolling black of coal over every surface and substance. In the distance, you can hear people hacking, coughing, spitting into the street. The buildings here at the lower levels are stained black from the stuff, and so are the people. Most of the people nearby are, well, blackened. Their clothing, their faces, their flesh, everything is black. Everything is covered with the filth of the factories that lays low in the city and crawls into every corner of humanity like a virus. Who's looking around and getting a sense of London for the first time?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
It's a lovely city. Now, as you are looking around, Dinesh will turn from his seat next to the driver, of course not sitting with you ladies directly. This is your first time in London?
Oh no.
Yes, it is.
Yep.
Might I recommend this? And he'll reach into his coat and pull a small vial out. I only have the one, but perhaps it will be useful. It is essence of lavender. Very potent.
Chastity will reach for it and...
With some herbs of my choice.
she'll... So is it already just wafting up, or is it something that she has to, like, uncork?
It is corked.
Okay,
It's a
she'll
small vial of
uncork it
purple.
and...
It is an incredibly potent floral smell. Permeates your senses, but it covers up the shit.
Right. Okay. She'll cork it again.
Evelyn will pull out her own little one, or has been pulling out her own little one, and kind of just kind of dabbing it very lightly below her nose.
Now, this carriage has 2 rows, a front and a back row. Who is sitting in the front row? Well, technically middle, because the driver and Dinesh are in the front. So who would be sitting in the back?
Darcy probably would have gone last, because I think she sees everyone as somewhat superior to her, so she probably would have been like a last choice. So wherever like people wouldn't be sitting, she'd be sitting.
Where's the most legroom?
There's not really any. Well, you know what? For women, it's actually not terrible. And you're not that tall. You're only like what, 5'8", 5'5", somewhere in there.
5'9".
You're 5'9". It could be worse. No matter what, it's pretty evenly spaced. I'd say the middle, you have more room to dangle a leg out.
Is this
Scandalously.
a carriage or
Yes, so this is
a motor car?
this is a carriage. Their motor cars aren't
Wouldn't the
here
seats
yet.
be facing back to front? Like, facing
This is an extended version of a Johnny Cab.
oh, okay.
So, I believe a Johnny Cab is what I'm thinking of here. One moment.
Yeah, because I was definitely picturing like the open-air carriages like that go around Victoria.
Or that are closed, but
Yeah.
you generally face each other inside of it.
One moment, please. No, this is the cheap cab style. So the cab style, this is basically a double-decker version of a. If I can remember exactly what they're called.
While you're looking that up, we've got to hydrate.
I know. Yes, we do. Wow. So I'm thinking that it's closer to kind of more like a convertible, I guess. I mean, I guess it could look. This is the cheaper of models. There are no sides, or there is a roof but no sides. So one moment, I will pop this into your chat so you can see what the hell I'm talking about.
Handsome cabs? kind of
Handsome
thing?
cabs, yes.
Okay.
So it's like a
I found
double-decker
them.
handsome cab. Thank you so much.
Huh.
So this is just a cheap taxi, basically. Probably the cheapest taxi you've ever been inside of. So a handsome cab, if you Google handsome cab or French carriage, that will kind of cover it. And boop, I will pop that in the Zoom chat as well, so that, pardon me, in the... There we go. So if anybody's curious, that's kind of like a two-decker version of that, is what I'm expecting.
Okay.
Okay.
Wait, so like a 2-level one?
No, just two
Like
rows.
extended?
A longer one.
Okay.
Extended cab, I guess we'll say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or the whole sort of like, there's the 2 seats, but then there's the coachman's seat is up in the back above it.
I think
Sort of
they're both in the front, but there's just an extra row behind.
Okay.
Okay.
It's like an extended cab truck.
Then
I
yeah,
love
I'll
that
pro-
all of the research I did for this episode, by the way, the carriage was the hardest to do because there are no carriages of low means that Dinesh could afford that were any good. He would
That's
have,
fair.
so I had to invent a freaking double decker or a double row one because otherwise he would have had to book 2 carriages. And the dude doesn't get paid enough for this. I'm just gonna put that out there. Anyway,
Fair.
Josephine, you had a question.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say that I'd probably be in the further front row that we could be in.
All right. And who's sitting next to you?
I think Chastity wanted to sit in the front.
Okay, so Chastity and Josephine, you will be able to see this before anybody else. You can make me a perception and alertness roll at a difficulty of 8 because there is so much going on around you. The city is rife and alive, and even though it is a very chilled morning and people are shuffling around with their coats upturned, you will notice that there is there's just so much life in this cold autumn morning.
Sorry, was that perception and
And alertness.
alertness? Okay.
Successes. Both 10s, but I don't have a specialty.
What was the difficulty?
8.
8. I got. Oop. Never mind. The 1 canceled it out.
Okay.
Nope. 9.
All right. So, Josephine, are you on the left or the right? You say you're on the right, probably, because
Sure.
that means that you could have helped Chastity up if you wanted to, from the way that you would have loaded over. Actually, no, pardon me. You would have gotten in first because you're impetuous, because you loaded on the left. Because we're in England, so we have to reverse this.
That's fair, yeah.
Having loaded up, you will see that across the lane, you're in the middle of a sizable amount of traffic. People riding horses, people being pulled in carriages by horses everywhere. The stink is incredible. You have not smelt this much horse in your entire life. And what gets you is you're watching these little boys, 12 years old or so, darting between the carriages. A loud plopping sound appears to the front of you, and you see that a horse shits massively in the center of the road, and one of these boys comes by with a pan and broom, quickly scooping it up and diving out of the way before they're crushed by another carriage. They rush over, and you can see that it looks like there's a collection facility down next to an alley nearby, kind of obscured by a bit of fencing. These boys do this for a living. Pennies to clear the horse shit.
Someone's gotta, I guess.
It's interesting to watch. And in front of you, as you see one of these boys, a blonde-haired scamp with a few missing teeth, even at age 12, looks like probably from abuse or fistfights on the street, rushes forward to go clean up another mess that a horse is making. He scoops low, and as he does, he misses a dollop that falls. And then he hits it with the heel of his boot. He begins to slip. Another carriage that he misjudged the timing between coming rapidly toward him. He's falling in slow motion in your mind. Do you do anything?
Oh,
He's about 20 feet away from you, oncoming
had
traffic.
to give that to me.
I did.
Yeah. Yeah, can I fast cast some forces to just kind of make him slide enough to get out of the way, or
Sure.
or to,
Yeah, that'll be forces too. So I'll
Cool.
say it is fast casting, so you're going to be at difficulty of 6 for this.
Okay. Let's see what happens. Ooh. That's 3 successes.
3 successes. Okay, I'm going to say that this is uncanny that this happens. You know what? He's already slipping. So I'll say it's elegant.
Thank you.
So he's already slipping, falling, and you see in his eyes he's turning and looking toward the horse carriage that's rapidly approaching. The driver's not paying attention, leaning down to a snuff box. The horse whinnies and goes forward, starts to raise one of its hooves to dash his skull into the ground. And as he does, he slips. And the strangest thing happens. You swear you would have seen this coming, but a man comes up behind him, catches him, and pushes him as he slides out of the way. The man is large, round-gutted, swarthy and tanned from years in the sun. You will see him there, Josephine. And the strangest thing of all is through all the clopping and clomping, you will hear the unmistakable sound of a wooden leg. The man pushes the boy away from the carriage. The carriage passes, and the man is gone, and the boy stands there bewildered, shaking his head.
Oof. That was close.
Did you say something? Dinesh will say, looking back at you.
Oh, these boys, they're so fast, but one of them almost got clipped by that carriage. I was concerned.
I didn't even see that.
We'll be here shortly. Ladies, I do suggest you, steel yourselves. What we are about to see is not something that I would normally show ladies of your station. He'll nod, and as he turns around, you will head into the hellish area of Stepany. Row houses smashed against each other. It's some of the tightest housing that you've ever seen in your lives. It's, as far as you can see, just row after row of house crammed against brick walkways no wider than any of you with your elbows flared akimbo. Chaotic growth. The bricks, once kind of a brownish hue, now stained black. The wrought iron as dark as coal. We walk from here he says, as the carriage comes to a stop. And he begins walking you down these side lanes. For anyone who would like to, you can absolutely go on Google and you can check Mile End Road, Victorian era London. And if you go to image search, you can look at the third and fourth image that should pull up. And the fourth image is the one that I'm thinking of right now. I will go ahead and copy that link address into the chat for those of you who are watching right now. So take a look at that. Chimneys line the street ahead of you as you head underneath a broad overpass. Laundry is hung out to dry, and as you step into this back end row, you see nearby and smell more than anything the rotting of a dead horse, kicked to the side of the road, its ribs exposed to the sky. For a minute, as you look at it, you think, it's not dead, it's moving. And then the ribs part, and a rat the size of a medium-sized dog pushes its way out, dragging a piece of intestine behind it, like the train of a wedding dress. It dives into a bit of open alleyway and vanishes.
Maybe you should have brought your cat, Darcy.
Apparently, though I don't know if Brain could handle.
That was bigger than the cat.
Honestly, I'm glad he stayed home. I don't want to have to worry about him getting aimed by a rat.
Yeah, fair.
Shadi's gonna put a hand on her riding crop, just in case.
Oh, yeah,
Darcy's
Evelyn
gonna
is
clutch her purse,
holding her
hold her to her chest.
umbrella quite firmly beside her.
Brace yourselves. We're going in. And he begins to lead you down the lanes. Keep your hands on your purses. And as you approach, moving between these washers, you see people eyeing you, eyeing your belongings, eyeing your finery. They're distrustful of you, like you're here to steal from them, and perhaps you are in your own way. For you steal from them hope. A sense that they're good enough. You reflect their want back at them. As you move through the layers of blackened washing, screaming, squalling children, a voice beckons you near with cries. He's done it again! Jerk's back! The Ripper's back and he's done it again! He's murdering whores! He's murdering all of them. He murdered Hattie Kellogg. And he's coming for the rest of you too! You goddamn harlots! A toothless man stands on the edge of a property, shouting, and he turns. And he's coming for you too! Horse, he says, looking at you. And I think that's a good place for us to take a quick break. We'll be right back, folks. Don't go anywhere. Woo! And we're back. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the portion of this program where we talk to the chat. Hello.
Have we gone old-timey?
We're definitely old-timey. Hello, everyone. Good to see you here. Last time on Legend of Korra, probably some gay shit.
Be high self crimes.
Be high self crimes. I'm gonna. Oh God, I gotta make that into a
That
shirt.
needs to be a T-shirt. Be
It
high
does.
self-crimes.
Get high self crimes.
Yeah.
But yes, it's always a great game in Mage when in Victorian era when you all call us whores, Kelly. It's always great.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just calling it like I see it.
It's I said I love it. I
mean,
love it.
for chastity,
I mean, you're not really a whore. You're just kind of a working girl. Take that as you
there's
will.
not much of a difference there for her as far as she's concerned.
You work hard for the money.
Yeah.
So hard for it, honey. Anyway, hi chat. This is the portion of the program where we talk to you. So we're going to do this for about 10 minutes, and then we're going to get back into the action tonight. Just letting you know, tonight's game is going to be a little bit shorter because several of the players are, I mean, a couple of you are feeling a little under the weather.
We're all broken. It's
We're
fine.
all broken. I will say something real quick. I do want to say that going back into game tonight, I hated how awkward and like truncated the beginning of the game was. Because it was just a rockier start getting back into the swing of things, and one of the reasons is just that you take any time away, you get even minorly rusty. It's like physical exercise. Like if you take any time at all, you lose your muscles. But I have had really bad like mental health the last couple of days. Like I've been like really down. I feel better in this moment than I have in the past 3 or 4 days. Combined, like all of the good stuff. I feel like I needed my fix, and I think I was really anxious about getting back into normal stuff. So this feels really nice to actually get back and do stuff. So, yeah, anyway, welcome back. Also, a couple of quick announcements you might have seen during the mid-roll just now. We have 2 new games starting soon that we hopefully will see you at. One is a little intermission game that is going to be running on this Monday and the next 2 to 3 Mondays, depending on how the plot progresses. And that is a Call of Cthulhu game that is going to be featuring my good friend Hayden, as well as Michael and Kel. And also James and Krista are going to be in that. It's going to be a lot of fun. And on the final game, you have a good chance to win some prizes because Chaosium, the company that publishes Call of Cthulhu, actually provided us the materials to run. So you might win some Cthulhu stuff, which would be pretty good. As well, we also and what that is doing is filling the gap between right now and the start of Wild Beyond the Witchlight, a Feywild adventure. Which is a new Dungeons & Dragons game. It's the Wizards of the Coast module for 2021. And it is coming out on the 21st. So we're having a special Session 0 that night. And then the following Monday, we begin play, running it normally weekly like we did with Rime of the Frostmaiden. So we hope you join us. It's going to be fantastic. We've got a full 5-character lineup for that. So it's going to be Christine, Hayden, Robin, Krista, and Caitlin are joining for that, and you just got to look at their characters for the first time if you look back at that. So it's going to be a fantastic crew. It's really good, and from step 1, I am going to start running the damn game how I want to run it, rather than trying to play to the module. Because the best thing that came out of that was Harwar, and he's literally a sentence. At least in Rime of the Frostmaiden. God damn, I changed that sentence up a lot. But how about the rest of y'all? How are y'all feeling about Mage? Is it good to be back?
Yeah, so good.
It's good to be back.
Darcy and I
like-
had to reintroduce each other for a bit. It was a bit rocky settling back into Darcy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Yep. And I love chastity. I always start hitting my stride with my characters around games 3 or 4. So, yeah. Just wish I was feeling slightly better for it.
Yeah. I'm enjoying Mage, even though I feel like absolute crap. So like the fact that I am down and not feeling great does not change the fact that like Mage is awesome.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
wish I wasn't in pain.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I'm having a little trouble keeping up with Evelyn and keeping up with what's happening just because
That's fine.
I'm zoning
Go into your analytical mind for the next scene, and I think you'll have a lot of fun.
Okay.
Game is going to be a little shorter tonight. Like I said, I think we're going to do this investigation scene, but it's going to be a little harsh. So when we get through it, I'm going to call game pretty quick after that. So this game's going to be probably about 2.5 hours long compared to our normal 3.5, 4. I think that this is one of those episodes where that's a good thing. Be as you will see. I also want to thank Chihista, if she is still in the chat right now. So they came by earlier for a project that we're working on, and I ran some of tonight by them really quickly for a second opinion, because storytelling tip: whenever you are unsure of a plot or you're going with something that is kind of edgy, run it by a second person to see if you're actually edgy or you're going too far. It's really easy to not know where your own line is, and to be like, oh, will this be shocking? Becomes, will this look like I'm trying too hard to gross somebody out and will totally ruin what I'm trying to do really quickly. So having a second opinion from someone you trust and whose sensibilities you trust, very useful, especially if they're not in the game with you.
Yeah, that's fair. I will note, though, that being a student of history and having read a lot of history to do with death and the awful ways humans treat each other, most of what you could say is probably not going to end up actually being gratuitous. It probably would have happened at some point.
Yes, and I will remind you that as the caller outside said before, that you are only a couple of years removed from the Whitechapel murders, and some of those were awful.
I've seen the pictures.
I love that we both took that same course at different times. There's some fantastic courses on murder at a local university we go to.
There was even
Boy, you bet the science person is now typing Whitechapel murders into Google right now.
Go check it out, the Jack the Ripper article on Historic UK.
Okay.
In fact, one sec, I'll pull it up and
also content warning. Yes,
send it to you
for murder and stuff. Has anybody else been doing anything cool that they want to announce? Anything that the chat needs to know about?
One of the worst photos is at the bottom of that one, Robin.
Okay. Also, just a quick notice as well, we have a Deadlands game that is going to be starting soon as well. That got moved to after the start of Wild Beyond the Witchlight because Extra Life took so much out of people. We just wanted to move it to a time. I think our Game Zero is going to be on September 26th. So it's a little delayed, but that's good because I got to admit, everybody, now that we're moving closer to autumn, I cannot say how much I appreciate the temperature dropping. Because we started this game during a heat wave, and now I can comfortably wear a 3-layer suit. I mean, fairly comfortably at least, anytime I want.
I thought a blanket.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy to wear my shawl on top right now.
You wear the shawls for the lulz.
I'll have to pick up a shawl actually for this character as we go into winter.
Yeah,
I have a vest that I haven't used yet.
It was pretty warm today, but
I know, but by comparison, though, it's just getting better every week, and I love it.
Yeah.
By the time that Deadlands actually starts, wearing a cowboy costume is not going to be too hot, and I love it.
It's true. That's good. When I got up this morning, I realized that before I went to the gym, so at like 9:30 this morning, my greenhouse outside was approaching 40 degrees because it was in bright sunlight, and I was like, must go open door.
That's in Celsius, by the way, if you didn't.
Yes.
What a greenhouse effect.
Yep.
All right. So, folks, we're going to be heading back in just a minute. If there's anything the chat would like to ask or talk about, now is your time. Go ahead and type it in there. In the meanwhile, I also want to say thank you for everyone who came out to Extra Life. If you're watching this on YouTube, the Extra Life videos will be posted shortly. I just took a few days off to work on other projects and to kind of get caught up on work. And I will edit them and have them up pretty shortly. But over the weekend, we managed to hit a total of 5,001 US dollars raised to date for our BC Children's Hospital and Children's Miracle Network Fund, which is a fantastic goal. Thank you so much for helping us reach it. We also had the most meta game that I've ever ran to the third most meta game I've ever ran to date, but the weirdest one of them for sure.
Yeah.
That was our final game, and it was all Krista's fault.
It was very funny.
It was
good.
I ripped that costume pretty hard. It's not my fault though. It zips from the ass. Anyway, what?
I said that was just one of the favorite things that I was like, yes, this is why we're friends, because you went and ran down to your storage and grabbed a Deadpool costume.
I almost
fantastic.
died. I'm glad. I don't think I was wearing socks. I think that saved my life.
Good job.
Because socks on stairs, they're not great.
On feet on people.
Yeah.
Kids on brooms on bikes.
What? Kids on brooms on bikes? On brooms? All right. Okay, folks, so we're going to head back into game. Thank you so much for being here. Hopefully, I don't know if anybody's sticking around from Gehenna. Thank you for the raid, Gehenna Gaming. Good to see you there. Sorry that we always raid each other on breaks. It's such a pain in the ass. But what a lovely thought. Really do appreciate it. And if you're looking for more World of Darkness gaming, Gehenna Gaming's a really good gaming group. You should go look them up. I believe they're on YouTube as well. I think I'm subscribed to them on YouTube. Pretty sure. But they're definitely on Twitch. So just Gehenna Gaming. They're cool people. I mean, they do stories like us. But I forget where they're located, actually. They're not out of the Pacific Northwest. But yeah, good people. A lot of the people who do World of Darkness gamings are really cool. But yeah, I'm going to just kind of ramble a little bit. And then, let's see. Is there any... I think those are all the announcements. Anyone else? Got anything?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'd like to announce that I appreciate you for organizing Extra Life.
I appreciate you
Yes.
for showing up and playing and being cool.
Oh, I guess my only one is I am not going to be able to stream tomorrow morning. I am still too wrecked.
That's also fair.
So I'm putting off till Tuesday now.
Get
Oh, well, thank you
rest.
very much. Krista, you're wonderful. What did Mike is offering to do a frame for what?
A virtual
Oh,
Stitch and Bitch.
Stitch-
It was just
okay, yeah, do it.
Kel suggested in chat a virtual Stitch and Bitch, and suggested to doing it on Twitch. So hang out and
Stitch and
crochet
Bitch on
or
Twitch?
knit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A Stitch and
exactly.
Bitch on Twitch.
And Precarious,
Stitch and
I
Bitch.
will have you come. You're gonna guest star in an episode next time.
Oh, I
so
guess
it'll be
I can
good.
say thank you for everyone for my game that I GM'd for the
Yeah.
first
Did you? Did you enjoy that?
I did.
Robin ran her first game, and it was
Now
My
I have.
Little Pony, and that will be up soon. And then we went and saw Free
job.
Guy the other night, and there's so much Ryan Reynolds in my life, thanks to you.
And I'm so sad because I was supposed to have a games night with my brother and his partner while they were in town, and then I find out at 6:30 that they're actually going out for dinner with some friends, so they weren't actually going to be around.
Oh, you still could have made it.
Yeah, I didn't know what time things were, and at that point
Oh,
I was like, I don't want
yeah.
to go anywhere. It was at
It-
6:30, and I'm like, oh shit.
I will say real quick though that we booked seats in the theater that were as far from everyone else as possible, and then we still had a family of 4 that sat directly in front of us.
Wow.
However,
To be fair, at least we were the ones breathing onto them.
Yeah.
and it was a father and three boys, and the kids wore masks when they weren't eating and had them on before they even stood up again. Everybody in the theater was really pretty chill and cool about stuff.
Cool.
And I was super anxious when I saw them sit down, and then they were really good. The dad was the one that took a while to put his mask back on because he was kind of dadding around. I was just like,
Dad's got a dad.
Dad's gonna dad.
At least that's the one thing with that movie. I feel like that might have been part of it. It was a video game based movie.
Oh yes,
You're not necessarily going to get a lot of the stupid Karens at it.
Yeah, no. Instead, we got
Unless
the
they
woman
had
who laughed
specifically
at
kids they were
every
taking.
joke. Ah! like Duck laughed at everything.
Maybe
I mean,
you
to
just
be
had a
fair,
duck.
I loudly laughed a few times too.
Yeah, well, I know, but she was like, "Yeah, you get him." Those type of loud comments at the screen, and it's like, you know what? I kind of missed this. It's gonna be rough. I really want to see Shang-Chi, but I don't want to be there for the opening show, right? Because I don't want to be in a packed theater. But I want to see it, so it's like, meh, whatever. But yeah, no, kids have been really good about it. It's really good. Anyway, folks, I think that's enough time. We should probably head back into game. So, everybody stretch. Oh, except for Christine. Christine, don't move at all. And let's get this. So, you dumped all your dice on the floor.
I did.
Did you manage to get them? Was that what the leaning forward was?
Yeah, I got all but 3 back their way, across the space. So I'm like, I probably
time.
won't have to roll 10 dice at one time. So
All right, so folks, we're going to head back into game. Thank you so much for being here with us and as we return. And I look forward to ramping back up and getting you into this. All right, heading back into game in a 3, a 2, a 1. Hello and welcome back to Mage the Ascension, the Victorian Age, here on Dork Tales. As we go into this scene, I do want to levy a quick content warning. The following scene contains discussion of gruesome murder with sexualized overtones, as well as potentially child endangerment. Viewer discretion is strongly advised, and if this scene is something that would be difficult for you to get through, akin to, say, like a gruesome murder investigation, perhaps come back at the very end of the episode or at the beginning of next episode, and you'll be able to make sense of the plot just fine. But please take care of yourself, because these are not normal situations, and some people do not deal with them well, and we want you to take care of yourself. And y'all do the same, okay? So we all have a private chat. If a description is getting too in-depth, send me a message. You can send it private or public to the group, and I am happy to adjust my running style so that everyone's comfortable and we get the most out of this. That being said, I know you are all sickos and really want me to get into this, so particular Jen's just grinning. So, with that, you find yourself standing outside of a gray, soot-covered house. A toothless man barks at you, calling you all manner of things. Nephandi steps in front of you, and he lets out a string of even more caustic, racialized language at the man as soon as he notices the Indian coloration to his skin. Saying things like invader and other things that I'm not going to repeat 100 years in the future. Dinesh smiles and takes it, the arrows bouncing off of him like Achilles. He smiles and directs you past him. I did my service for the Empire. This is my city as much as it is yours, he says, with a smile around his mustached lips. The man spits onto his pants and wanders off into the muddy darkness of the alleys. What a pleasant man, Dinesh says, and turns back to you. Are you ready?
As we can be.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, he directs you inside of the house. As soon as you step inside of the doors, you hear the sound of a gun being cocked. A teenager is sitting on a chair near the front door as it swings inside and raises a loaded shotgun to your knee level. It's me, Dinesh says. The small child who looks English. Face covered in soot. Hair tucked underneath a billowing cap. Dressed in rags too large. Lowers the gun. Took long enough. Thank you for waiting. I will, here. Another penny. And he puts one delicately on the counter next to the child. This them? The kid says. Yes. And now that they're here, go fetch him. Right. The kid swoops up the coinage, stands up, and pushes past you. As they do, anyone who wants to can make me a perception and alertness or empathy roll. Either will be fine.
Difficulty 6?
Difficulty, we'll say 7. We'll say 7.
Big nope.
Big nope.
Nope.
2 for me.
I
for you.
rolled 2 10s, 2 1s, and a 9, so that's gonna be 1 success.
Okay.
That's gonna be 3.
Okay. And I'm just gonna roll as well.
3 successes.
Wow, I have 1 success. Okay, so who got 2 successes or more? Okay. Actually, this is perfect that Josephine would have noticed this. As the child pushes past, you'll see that he gives you the stink eye, Darcy and Chastity, as he passes. But as he brushes past both of you, you will both get a look and a feel as she pushes past you. And the youthful body that's forming underneath the baggy clothing presses against you just for a second, enough that revealing that this is a girl dressed as a boy, who deliberately was lowering her voice to bark at you. A good kid, he says, as she leaves into the alleyway. Well, come with me. And with that, he leads you inside. Now, the main room of this house, which has been subdivided into a number of apartments, you see that there are a few people at the table. They're asleep, their heads down next to their porridge. One of them, the woman, is snoring loudly. Huge bubbles of snot rolling out of her nose. In fact, no matter where you go in the house, you'll see that there are doors open, people asleep in the hallway, collapsed. Fear not, this is my doing. They should be asleep for another hour or so. A little bit of poison, a mild dose, put into their gruel. Did the job.
Impressive.
Efficient.
We are nothing but. He leads you up 3 flights of stairs until you're on the top of this house. It is there that he reaches up and pulls down a drawstring, revealing a trap door into an attic apartment. As soon as he does, the smell begins to waft down. Rotting meat. It's warm inside of this house. The top floor has accumulated all of the heat from the lower levels and the coal burning in the fire pits. Whatever's in the attic has been cooking from it for hours now. He heads up the stairs first. Who goes second? Who follows?
Darcy's, like, insanely curious, so she will be very up there at the top, right behind him.
Evelyn will follow fairly quickly. She's re-dabbed her perfume.
Sounds good. As you are coming up, I would like everyone to make me a willpower roll, your current willpower.
Oh no.
Okay, so roll the number of dice of willpower we have.
Yes.
I only have 2. Okay.
You know what? I'll let you roll full willpower, your total willpower number.
Okay.
What's the difficulty?
Difficulty of this is going to be 8.
Does 10 do anything special here?
We'll say yeah, it counts as 2.
Okay. And that will be 3 for me.
Okay.
3 for me as well.
3 for me as well.
7.
7.
2 10s.
Jesus.
2 8s and a 9.
You go immediately into just
Just
investigate.
analyzing the scene.
Yeah.
Okay. Did anybody get less than 3 successes? Damn. Okay.
We're
You
all
find-
hardcore lady folk.
Apparently, you head up into a broad apartment. The apartment itself is actually larger than any of the individual rooms downstairs, and you can see that it's been subdivided. Curtains hang from drawstrings on the wall like they would be holding washing. One of them flutters in the breeze, and you can see a streaked, bloody handprint on the other side. Light billows into the room from a singular point, a circular window on the far side beyond those sheets. There are places up here where people have bedrolls. Or had. There are places up here for storage. The air quality is awful up here, and as soon as you enter, you notice that it's at least 5 degrees warmer than it was beneath. Dinesh stands on the other side of the curtain. I will wait here until you see what needs to be seen. You have a few minutes to investigate, perhaps an hour, and then we must depart. I have a specialist coming to look at this as well. I hope he will be here soon. And with that, he will step aside and wait. All around you, you can hear the sound of buzzing flies. Who draws back the curtain first?
I will, I guess.
That feels appropriate.
I think Evelyn is going to use her umbrella to do it.
Okay. Pushing back the curtain, you were not sure what we would see here, but it is not this. This is nothing that could have been expected. The room in front of you goes on for another 20, maybe 25 feet before hitting that window. The roof is slanted drastically on both sides, pitching downward and almost into the floor of this attic, creating a sense of vertigo as you look through. It's about 30 feet wide. The walls are bare, and on them you see someone has scrawled in blood 4 names, each of yours. Lying on the ground next to the names is what looks like the carcass of a bird, its head bent at a disturbing angle. However, that's not what gathers your attention the most. You see the nude back of a woman facing you. And from this angle, you can see that the front of her is splayed backward toward you, as if a cavity in her chest were yawning grotesquely. Her hands and knees are spiked into the floorboards. She has been propped up like a tent in the position of one of the Eastern mystics, her knees bent back grotesquely. Who walks around the front?
Darcy will.
Looking around the scene, the smell is everywhere. Flies consume her eyes as she leans back. Her mouth is stitched shut with catgut wire. Staked to the ground like a veal calf, as you move around, you will see pins hold her flesh open. A sigil lies on the ground in front of her, wide, an arm's length. A circle with an internal circle, a square, and a triangle. with 4 plates lying on the ground. The tip of the triangle points toward her, and you see that she has been cut from collarbone to groin. The flesh hangs loose and limp at her sides. Too much of it, it's distended, grotesquely. And as you look down, you see that parts of her have been removed and placed on these plates. Some type of offering? What's more, parts of her have been pulled out and splayed across the ground. There's blood smearing every bit of this room. Who would like to start investigating it? I'm not going to tell you more until you look for things.
Evelyn.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
So-
we're all looking at
That
something.
sounds good. So, there are several things you can use to do this. One, you can make an investigation roll. You can make a medicine roll. You can make an occult roll. Or, after certain periods, you can make other rolls. You can suggest any roll you would like for this, but those are the 3 big ones right now. So I would pick one realm to focus on and to work toward that. You can also make me an alertness roll if you don't like any of those, to pick up details about the room that might be a little bit beyond. But as you're looking at her, light is bathing in through that huge circle window at the edge of the room, casting her into brilliance. All she is pale white skin. All she is flies and gore. All right, so anybody who'd like to, go ahead and make me a roll. This is going to be, given the situation, you all have steadied your willpower enough as you look through this. So congratulations. Evelyn, I'll say you can make the first roll, but everyone's basically going to be working together on this. If you're making an investigation roll, go ahead and roll that now.
Yeah, I was thinking it would be perception and investigation.
Okay, is anyone else doing perception and investigation? You could also use intelligence and investigation if you wished.
It's the same thing for me.
Okay.
I want to do something very specific.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and do her roll real quick.
What's the difficulty?
Difficulty on this is going to be, we'll say that it's 7 because this is somewhat disturbing, but you succeeded your roll very well.
4.
Holy crap. We'll come back to you in just one sec. Josephine, what are you doing?
Okay, so this whole thing to Josephine looks like a ritual.
Yes.
So I would like to investigate it as a ritual, possibly using like esoterica.
Okay. Not a cult?
My esoteric is better.
Okay.
The way I read it was that occult would have been probably more prominent on Earth, not necessarily more prominent in Concordia.
Okay.
So,
So I'm just going to see...
I could do occult, but...
I'm just seeing what the benefit of esoterica is, because it's something in a... I deleted that sound. Why is it still doing that? It just gave me the Windows sound, even though I deleted it from the system because I was tired of it showing up in streams. It did it again.
And I was thinking of doing medicine potentially.
Sure, you can do
As well.
medicine. And Amy, what were you planning on doing?
I was thinking I would do an occult or medicine roll. I hadn't decided.
Okay, so...
but if
so
I could do occult.
you can do occult and you can do esoterica, actually. Very specifically for this.
Can I do intelligence and
You
occult?
can do intelligence or perception.
Okay, I'll do intelligence and occult then. I'm gonna spend willpower on this.
It sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, actually, me too. And our difficulty?
Your difficulty on this is going to be 7 for everything.
Ooh. So that's 3 successes total on my
Okay.
end.
5.
Nice.
Also 5.
Okay. Well, hell. All right. All right, so you begin to break this scene down immediately. Using investigation, you quickly piece together what has gone on here. The blood on the wall is the freshest, if such a thing could be possible. It looks like a pigeon had been captured. No, a dove. Pure white. Its neck had been twisted off. And it looks like someone with a gloved hand painted each of your names on the wall within line of sight of this woman's dead eyes.
And are all of the names spelt correctly?
Perfectly.
All right. Somebody with potentially some education then.
Is it like the full names, like our first and last name, or is it
It
just
is
like
your first and last name. And it specifically mentions Harkness, not your other last name, too.
Yeah, Kevin, yeah.
And mine is Josephine, not anything else.
Yes. Well, actually, you know what? I think it would still be Josephine. Does your last name is Carrington is part of your shadow name, right?
It's all part of my shadow name.
Yeah.
My birth name is Azure.
Yeah. So this would be under the Josephine name that is listed there.
Yeah.
It is not your birth name. I will tell you that.
Thank you.
Looking around the room, you are also going to notice a couple of things. Using investigation, you will see that her lips have been stitched shut with catgut wire. But something is poking just between them. A little piece of paper has been stuffed into her mouth before it was stitched shut.
Can I pull out... I probably have...
A tiny set of scissors or something?
Or like a little set of tiny tools, so potentially a set of tweezers of some sort.
Yes, you may.
Can I just see... Because I don't necessarily want to like disturb anything so that when we leave it's obvious that she's been examined already.
Mm-hmm.
So first attempt would be to lightly see if I could pull the paper out without touching it.
It takes you a bit of effort, but you are able to. Looking around, you are also going to see that it looks like this was very carefully placed and left here. The plates are very cheaply made. But you'll recognize that the 4 plates on the ground are made of lead, not pewter. Small discs of lead. And upon each one, an organ was placed. Now, let's move down the list. Darcy, looking around the room, you are going to be focused on the woman. You look at her fingernails and see where some of them are embedded into the wood of the ground and realize that she was nailed and cut while alive. The flies buzz in your ears, and you try to keep them out of your mind as you investigate. You quickly recognize the things on the plates. Gallbladder, liver, lungs, spleen. Swiftly and deftly removed. Surgically. By a butcher.
Sorry, it was gallbladder, lung, liver, spleen?
Yep, gallbladder,
Cool.
lung, liver, spleen.
Sweet.
And then, and this is my content warning, you look at the rest of the cavity. As Josephine leans over and plucks something out of the corpse's mouth, you see the hollow that once was filled with innards. With 5 successes, you will immediately look and see that the flesh, there's just too much of it. It hangs open like a too large jacket, not buttoned up against the cold. The heart is gone. The intestines, the stomach, those are still there. But beneath, the mass of flesh that is poured out onto the ground is her womanhood. It's been carved out. But it too is swollen and extended. And then you realize what you're looking at. She must have been at least 8 months pregnant. There is no baby in sight. You can see the end of a cord, like a withered snake reaching out from the mass of flesh, where it was severed. The babe is gone, and the body cools without. You will also notice that her flesh is swollen in places, preparing for birth. You think that, looking at this, she was nearing the end of her term.
What? I don't know if I missed the description, but what was her, like, what's her hair, like, hair color? Does she look like she's English in descent, or?
English descent? Kind of a muddy brown.
Okay.
And that's what you will notice right there looking at her. Now I'm going to move down the list. So as you are looking at this, Esoterica is going to come up next.
Also remember that I have Prime Sight up in case there's anything still active.
Okay. There is not actually. It is deprived of magic in this room. Glancing down though, Darcy, are you mentioning what you're seeing as you're going through?
Oh yeah, she will be like saying things. Maybe she's not even realizing that she's saying it out loud, but she's kind of doing something akin to like if she was helping out with a farm, with probably like looking at and helping like give help with like some of the animals that they've had to deal with on the thing. So she's definitely like muttering this under her breath.
Do you mention the organs?
Oh yeah.
Which ones are which?
On the plate and like on the things, she's mentioning things like on the sigil and the plate.
Josephine, as you are looking down at this sigil, which, like I said, is this big circle directly in front of her, about as large as you could wrap your arms. There is. Real quick, just wanted to say, hello Raid, good to see you. We are in a very intense murder investigation now, so I apologize for the gore you are about to hear.
I was just about to say, okay Raid, you came in on a really intense spot.
Okay, so on the plates in front, in the middle of this sigil, which I have sent you an image of, I will go ahead and send it to the chat as well. Actually, can one of you just post it in the chat real quick?
Sure.
The Discord chat? Or not Discord chat, the Twitch chat.
Twitch chat, yeah.
So these circles, so there are 3 circles with plates on them. The center circle as well as the 3 that flank as an inverted triangle. The center of the triangle, the north spoke, is pointed directly at the woman. But as you hear Darcy call out what this is, a gallbladder, a liver, lungs, and a spleen, you immediately cotton on to what this is.
Mm-hmm.
It's elemental casting. Each one of those is representative of one of the 4 humors. The lungs are water. The spleen is earth. The air is the liver. And the gallbladder is the organ of fire.
Mm-hmm.
Except, it's not only a 4-element model. This type of circle, you vaguely recognize it. You're having a little bit of trouble figuring out exactly what it's trying to represent, which is where chastity. Looking down, you will immediately see from an angle, this is an alchemical symbol. The lead plates, they're heavy and thick. Lead representing, well, often very negative things. In fact, the symbolism regarding lead, if you remember correctly, is sin, death, transformation, toxicity. The plates kind of ooze this aura as you look down at them, these blackened. Jen, I love that you're figuring all this out as I'm going right now, because this is.
I'm trying not to metagame because I know this in real life.
I know. Okay. So, as you, thank you so much for the compliments in the chat. Thank you so much. So as you are looking down at this, you are going to immediately see that this is This is an alchemical circle, which I will say Josephine automatically would have recognized that as well. You're a hermetic, there's no way you wouldn't have. Yeah. The specific one, however, eludes you. Which is why Chastity, with her knowledge of religious symbolism, will immediately recognize this sigil. This is a symbol of the Philosopher's Stone. Is anyone moving the plates?
With what we know about rituals and alchemical circles, does that seem like a terrible idea?
You're not seeing any magic right now looking at it. You could do a moment to try to like feel it with awareness to see if there's any like traps or anything.
Yeah, I think I want to do that before trying to. And she'll telegraph what she's doing, and like I'm gonna. Yeah.
You say that right as Darcy's reaching for a plate to move it.
Hold on a second. Wait.
Can I also do some?
Yes, perception and awareness, difficulty 8 always for that, unless it's higher.
Without a specialty, a 10 is just a success?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 2 successes then.
I got 2 as well.
You got 2 as well?
Yep, 8 and a 9.
Okay. You do not feel a magical essence here. There's no lingering magic on this site. But as you reach down and feel this out, each of you, I need both of you to make me another willpower roll.
Full willpower or current willpower?
We'll do current this time because I'm mean.
Okay.
Both of us?
Both of you, yeah.
Oof. I just spent a willpower, God.
What was success on that?
Difficulty of 6 on this, we'll say.
1.
I got a 6 and a 7.
Okay, 1. It is going to feel like you just had cold oil poured over your body. Whatever did this, you feel hatred. You feel, no, that's wrong. It's not hatred. You've hated things before in your lives, right? You've loathed things. You've wanted to hurt people. Even if just for a second, right? What you touch here, the resonance left on this place that rolls over you like a vat of ice water, is what it would feel like if you did this atrocity, and didn't care at all. It's not hatred. It's apathy. Not even the utilitarian atmosphere of someone slaughtering a pig for dinner. This has the same emotional resonance to the person who did this as tying their shoes. And as you touch that, you know this person would likely do the same to you without a second thought. And for a brief moment, Chastity, you empathize. It's only a second. It is only a moment, but a shadow that crosses over your heart. And then it passes, because you only got 1 success, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So it will pass for a second, but it is just, you're going to come away from this feeling a little stained. Not affected, but like you stepped in something that you can't get off your shoe. All right. So what are you all doing?
Haven't I been able to look at what's on the paper yet?
And with that, you are going to manage to pry the lips apart enough to pull out the paper. As you do, you will see that in very gentle handwriting is, well, R117 with a colon after the 1. R117. Do you have any academics?
Yes.
You think it's
Many?
you think it's probably a reference. Probably religious. You have enough investigation successes to know that, but you probably don't know off the top of your head what it is since you don't have any points in religion, I'm pretty sure.
Is religion a thing you can have points in?
You can buy it as an additional skill, I believe. Did you take
I have theology.
theology?
I
Pardon me.
see.
Theology. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not on the list of things.
Oh yeah,
No, it's a
Amy
write-in.
took it as a. Was that? Yeah, right. Amy
It's a
took it as a
write-in.
write-in.
Yeah.
So you could definitely try it at a very high difficulty to recognize what this would be. It would be intelligence and academics at a difficulty of 8 to know what it is, higher to actually be able to cite it.
Yeah, you know what? I want to roll that.
Sure. I'll say difficulty 8 because I doubt you would actually know what this is specifically, but you would know where to look for it if you succeed.
Difficulty 8, you said?
Difficulty 8, I said. 4. This is a passage from Revelation. I doubt that you would have ever paid enough attention to Revelation to know what it is, though.
Do any of you know Revelation well?
Chastity pulls out her Bible.
Okay. You can go
Even
ahead
better.
and you can look up Revelation 118. Or pardon me, 117.
117? Okay.
Yep. You can just
Give me
Google it right
one
now.
sec.
Oh, you actually have
Is
a Bible
it-
on you?
I do.
Is
It's
it-
right here.
Which version is it in, though?
Yeah, that's a good question.
If it's King James, that's probably the one I was intending.
Oh.
And I want to promise that I wasn't lazy. Revelation was just the best quote for the moment.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'll just Google it. It'll take me a second to find it otherwise.
Yeah, that's not creepy at all.
Yeah.
No, not creepy at all.
Well, let Chastity read it to you.
Yeah.
Okay, this is from the New International Version of something. So it says, "When I saw him, I fell at his feet and as though dead. Then he placed his right hand on me and said, 'Do not be afraid. I am the first and the last.'"
Close enough.
Close enough, yeah.
All
Okay.
the translations essentially say that.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, here's King James. Yeah.
They basically say, when I saw, I fell at
Yeah,
his feet as though dead. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, not creepy.
Not at all. Not at all.
Can I use theology to interpret what that means? A little bit more?
You can make me an intelligence and theology roll to see. Yeah.
Sure.
Also, if no one said anything about the plates being trapped, Darcy's 100% trying to move one.
Sounds good.
So that's gonna be 4 successes,
Okay.
since I don't have specializations. Otherwise, it would be like 6.
As you look at this is incredibly blasphemous, first of all. The context of that quote is inverted in this situation.
Inversion,
This-
huh?
Inversion. I'll say with that, did Sister Agatha ever teach you about the Dark Ones?
Oh yes.
This strikes
Maybe not
you.
in detail, but
You think of a single word as you look at this. Clipoth. The tree of death.
she'll say that. This is an inversion. This is Lapoth, the tree of death.
Anyone who would like to may make me an intelligence and occult intelligence and politics intelligence, and I think those are probably the big ones. Politics I'll allow at a higher difficulty if you don't have occult.
I got none of that.
Cosmology or anything?
I'll allow cosmology as an alternate to occult.
Excellent. I have that.
You do. So cosmology will be a slightly higher difficulty, just because it's a little out there. I'm also going to raise your difficulty specifically because you are an Order of Reason member.
Yeah.
So roll me at 9. Everyone else, roll me at 7.
Should I roll this as well, or do I
Nope,
already
this
know?
is
With
something
knowledges, you can't roll it.
you cannot
This
roll
on
if you don't have it.
Yeah.
So this has not been part of your training yet. 1.
Yep. 1 success for me.
Okay.
Technically, it would have been 3, but I also had a couple ones.
What'd you get, Jen?
4.
Okay, the Qliphoth. This is what you will know, Evelyn. The Qliphoth is the opposite of the Sephiroth, the Kabbalistic tree of life. You will know specifically that in cosmological circles, the Sephiroth is often used by religious types to justify the 9 spheres as stages along the tree, and the Qliphoth is the inversion. And there is only one group of people or one type of mage that uses that. The Nephandi. You, Josephine, will know that the Qliphoth not only represents the inversion of magic, but the Qliphothic spheres are theoretically a thing. Magic tainted by the darkness beyond, or the darkness within, that inverts and perverts all true will. You're not sure if this is a tryhard or an actual Nephondist that did this, but the thought of the Qliphoth is enough to twist your stomach into a knot.
Yeah.
And also, titillate. This is why you came to Earth. However, you realize now that as fun as it is to see a lion at the circus, you'd hate to be the one with your your head in its jaws for the trick. Darcy, as the rest of them are doing that and talking about something that you don't recognize, you pull the center plate out of the way. The one that has the spleen on it. And as you do, you see that there is a singular marking underneath, burned into the wood of the floor. Now this you will recognize without a roll, as will, as I think will all of you. Do you have any occult, Evelyn?
No.
Okay, so Evelyn, this will be lost on you. To you it looks like a stylized 0. The rest of you will see a serpent swallowing itself. The Ouroboros. Although it looks different. It's facing the opposite direction as normal. It's counterclockwise versus its normal clockwise. Actually, I believe it's normally counterclockwise. It's hard to tell. It's a snake eating its tail. But it is the opposite direction, which we will say is counterclockwise, because I think the snake is usually on the right. Let me double check this.
I mean, the idea of it being counterclockwise would make perfect sense in this situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the snake's head is facing to the... I guess it's clockwise then, because if the snake's mouth is the direction it's headed. So it is consuming itself forward, not backwards. Now, as you're looking at this as well, this pops into your head. If it's using the humor system to represent elements, the classic model has 4 elements. Are you saying any of this out loud?
Oh yeah. Again, it's just kind of like muttering to if they're discussing, she'll still be like saying things out loud in case like something that she may not recognize pings in one of their.
And Josephine, did you mention the humors and the relevance?
Yeah, I would have.
Evelyn, you are actually going to have this pop into your head. There aren't just 4 elements, silly. There's a 5th one, a very important element to you.
There's not just 4.
No, there's Essentia as well, quintessence. It's the 5th.
Glancing down, you see the tip of the triangle, pointing directly toward the uterine sac, laying on the floor.
Why did they want the child?
Thing good.
And why were they obviously wanted to get our attention? What does this all mean?
Nothing good.
Does anyone look anywhere else?
I'll continue to investigate like the room to see if there's anything else I can find that
Okay.
Is
might
there-
point us in a direction.
Yes, Chastity.
Chastity's shifting the other plates if one of them revealed something underneath to see if there's any other.
One of them has a symbol of a sun, the other a moon. And the last, as you lift it, you will see that it has something carved underneath it. Into the floorboard, like with a penknife. Let's play. Darcy, is there anything else you're checking the body for?
Yes. I don't know, Robin, what she would be checking for right now. My brain's a bit fuzzy, but
Looking in front of you, you can see where the uterine lining was carved open to remove the child. But you also notice that although it's lying there as a hunk of discarded flesh, it's neatly folded. Like a present. Do you open your present?
she will take off her shawl and use that to open it up because, boy, she's not sticking her hand in that. But yes, she's super curious, so she will open up the present.
Evelyn will see only after you started. Oh, you could have used my tweezers.
Oh, thank you.
As you open it, you'll see that the inside is a long, vicious shard of glass covered in blood. As well as filth. It's thick, thick glass. Almost as thick as your pinky finger. The length of a dagger, and wickedly sharp. Folded and left for you inside of this woman. You think this might have been used to remove the child. What do you do with it? Do you pull it out?
Yeah, she will pull it out.
It's about the size of your bladed hand, of the blade of your hand. So, a good 6 inches.
Yeah. And it's so it's like a shard of glass. Like, is it like flat like a window pane, or does it look like it was carved like to be like kind of like a
It looks like
sacrifice?
flat like a piece of window pane. But very thick. Does anyone want to investigate it?
Yeah.
Sure. If you'd like, you can roll me investigation or science.
I would like to science the shit out of this, please.
Okay, please science the shit out of this.
Is
I
this
will use
interperception?
This is going to be intelligence and science.
Okay. And what's the difficulty?
Difficulty on this for logic leaps is going to be 7.
I think Josephine's going to start like
Can
sketching.
still get the double bonus?
If you have a specialty.
Okay.
Josephine's going to start sketching
Or
the sigil
successes
and make
then.
sure that there's a thing for it.
Sounds
I
good.
don't actually have any specialties, so
Oh, do you not have any skills at 4?
no,
Oh, okay.
they're all at 3.
Okay. Well, you'll buy some soon. All right, so you start sketching the sigil. It's pretty basic. You manage to get it into your book. You will also notice esoterically as you're doing so, if this circle was cast into the ground, riding the train of Chastity's thought, this is inverted too. The triangle is pointing south rather than north. For cardinal positioning for alchemy, it should always be pointing to the north if you're trying to do any type of actual evocation. For minor alchemy, not so much, but for any type of evocation beyond alchemical processes, even then it still should kind of be facing north, but looking out
Unless you have a specific reason to make
Yeah.
it face a different way.
and looking out the window, you'll easily be able to identify which way is north. The sky is rolling above you, and you will see the sun over and just kind of looming directly in front of you, pitching over toward the left slowly. Looking at this, you are going to see, Evelyn, as you take this shard and roll it over, it is incredibly thick. It's very thick, and a quick glance around reveals that the large window in this room is not broken at all. Fully intact. However, there are 2 things about this piece of glass that you'll notice. One, it is plate glass. Thick and specially designed. Number 2, there's a residue on it. On one side. On one side of it is blood, but as you wipe some of it away, you'll see the other side is coated with with smog, soot, and bird shit. Specifically, it looks like pigeon shit. Tons of it. But the other side, there appears to be a trace of something there. You can't quite see what it is without using some type of technique. Would you like to, well, actually, you know what? You got 4 successes with science. You think that it looks like some type of residue from pollen. This is part of a greenhouse. Of course, greenhouses normally, they use thick glass, but this is excessive.
And greenhouses are expensive.
They are. Anyone who would like to and is knowledgeable about the local area may make me an intelligence, and you may use politics, you may use you may use streetwise if you are knowledgeable about London.
So
So Evelyn, basically.
Evelyn.
I actually don't have
Um,
streetwise.
Darcy.
Thinking about like rituals and like life and like children and kind of connecting that this is all kind of like inversions of things that we are known about. Is there any sort of like ritual that she was taught about from Mayette that maybe is like tweaking in her mind about, like, especially like about the child? Is there anything that would be kind of peeking off in her brain about things that she was taught about?
You can make me an intelligence and occult or intelligence and wits roll, just to try to remember as hard as you can.
Okay.
You can still make the roll, Evelyn, even though you don't have streetwise.
Okay, so it was intelligence.
intelligence, and it'll be difficulty 7 because you don't have the skill. Josephine, you were going to say something?
Yeah, Josephine wants to do something dumb.
Please. I love dumb things. I do them several times a day.
Oh god, I want to cast Spirit Sight on myself.
Okay. You may do so.
Okay.
Don't bother rolling.
Okay.
The difficulty here... You know what? Roll. Difficulty is 3.
That is 2 successes.
2 successes. All right. So I'll be with you in just a second.
Yeah, sure.
Evelyn, how'd you do?
1 success.
There's actually one place in town that you can think of that is similar to a greenhouse that would have glass this thick. It's about 9 miles to the south. Down in, where is that? They moved it a few years ago. At great expense. After the exhibition was there. The Crystal Palace. It has immensely thick glass, specially designed to withstand the elements and be safe from the inside and out. It's not indestructible. But glancing at it, you think that there might be a place along the smooth side where this was chipped away from where it was fitted into the side of a structure. With a little bit of matter, you might be able to determine it for sure, but that seems like a very safe bet.
I will kind of share my suspicions with everybody. Yeah, I mean, I'll use matter to determine that.
Okay. So you can go ahead and make me a similar roll. So it'll be your arete at a difficulty of 5 to analyze this. Okay.
What was my difficulty, Kelly?
Difficulty on that. Would you roll?
Yeah. You said intelligence and wits?
You can do that just to do a straight up remembering as hard as you can roll. Yeah.
Yeah. What was the difficulty?
Difficulty, what'd you roll? Tell me the dice.
What do you mean? Like how many?
What did you
What
roll on your
numbers?
poll? What numbers did you get?
Oh, I rolled 1, 2, 4, 5, 7.
Okay. That will be a fail.
Yeah, I figured.
Actually,
It's a botch if it was like
that is a botch
6.
actually because it was difficulty
Yeah.
8.
Yeah, so it's a botch.
Congratulations, Robin! You get the first botch of the game.
Woo!
Okay. With that, you're not sure. But if anything, if he's taken the baby or they've taken the baby, actually, you wouldn't imagine this would be a woman. It's going to be a he. He's going to kill it. This is part of a sacrifice for sure. What you think of is veal. Your neighbor raised veal calves for some of the wealthy landowners. They would stake them out and grow them and fatten them up just to that ripe level. What if that's what's happening with this child? What if it's just being prepared for a ritual? And this is going to be a thought that's going to stick with you. I'm not saying that it's right or wrong, but it is what you're going to gather from this.
Okay.
Because botches are never that simple.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, nearby, you are going to open your mind's eye, opening it to spirits. Now, where are you looking with this, Josephine, as you cast your gaze into the ephemeral?
Sorry, my character brain and my real life brain are like
I know, right?
at odds. Because this is dumb. It makes sense to Josephine to start looking at the body, and then move out from there.
Sounds good. As you look at the body, now I have to ask, do you have any points of cosmology?
I have 3.
Which realm are you looking at? Are you looking at the near umbra? Are you trying to look for ghosts? Are you looking for ghosts or spirits, I guess, is the first question.
I think actually I'd be looking for spirits, because that would come more naturally than ghosts, and even after last night, I don't necessarily want to meet this ghost.
As you cast your eyes into the near umbra, you see this body. It begins to swell like the horse on the street. Something crawls around inside of it, feeding hungrily. It's segmented like a piece of intestine, a worm, the size of a small child. Around the room, you see that names are written on the wall, repeating your names over and over and over. They're being written in ichor by shadowy creatures, thin like scarecrows. They write on the wall. There are 4 of them, each writing one of your names, repeatedly, like a student at a chalkboard.
Can I try to interpret this in some way?
Sure.
I don't think Josephine knows what necessarily she's looking at.
Give me an intelligence and cosmology roll.
Sure. Difficulty?
Difficulty of this? We'll say 7.
2.
Okay. Watching these spirits, those are spirits of... The shadow creatures are spirits of thought. Spirits of emotion. No, it's not thought. Sadness. They have the starved, wan look of someone who's been left on a desert isle. You remember back to the woman. Her hair was brown, but it was cut, recently growing out, about chin length at this point. But for a Victorian woman, that would have been painfully short. But it was the last thing that you all thought of. And there was something about something that Evelyn did. Something that you'll have to investigate when you get back. But these creatures look like they live here. And like whatever happened scarred them so badly they're stuck in a pattern. These spirits of sadness dwell in this house. These spirits of sadness turn and look at you. And you'll start to hear the voices. Josephine. Carrington. Josephine Carrington. Josephine.
Can I look at anything else in the room
You
before
may.
I try to get away from this?
You may. They start to step toward you, ichor dripping off of their hands like over-bloated fountain pens. What else would you like to look at? Out of anything in the room?
If I haven't already looked at the sigil, I would like to look towards the sigil. If I already have, if that's part of the whole scene that I've already seen, then kind of the part of the room that isn't this. Just like the cleaner, untouched part of the room, I think.
Looking around the cleaner, untouched part of the room, you will see the hollow, desiccated remains of spirits of hope, spirits of renewal, spirits of love, lying on the ground like cicada shells. And as you turn and glance back, the thing inside of her chest bursts out and stares at you. Eyes, dozens of eyes ringing the maw and inside of its deep cavernous mouth.
I'm gonna cut off the sight.
Okay. So you're going to come back kind of a little shaken, having looked around in blind searching. What did the rest of you do? So Evelyn and Chastity.
Well, I was doing the matter
Okay.
thing, I think.
So you will confirm that this is absolutely material from the Crystal Palace. Looking at it, you can see that there's a bit of flora on here. One of the nature exhibits inside of the Crystal Palace matches this. The one near the tower, actually. You'll recognize specifically, having been there with... And then your heart sinks for a moment. Having been there with James. Your first date inside of London was at the Crystal Palace. Going through the butterfly exhibits. It was lovely. You marveled at how huge and what a work of wood and glass it was. It was immense. But you'll see the trace of cast iron on the other side of the glass from where this was housed. And without a doubt, you imagine that it came from there.
Now, why would they have taken this from there? Like, it seems like such... so convoluted to have pried loose a piece of glass from the Crystal Palace to
Send us
use
somewhere, I'm sure.
when a knife would be so much easier.
Unless they want us to go there.
Chastity, the words carved into the floor beckon you. Let's play.
This is a game.
Person is doing this. And they've taken an innocent child and ripped it away from their mother, and
I don't think there's anything of that child left.
I don't know. It's a young, innocent life. It could be used for a sacrificial ritual.
You'll hear footsteps. Yes.
That strikes the player as not quite right. I'm trying to figure out if Chastity would also think that doesn't sound quite right.
At the very least, you think it's, if not sacrificed, then bait.
I think it's bait, or the gears in her head are kind of churning and she's going, what little I know of these, it won't be an innocent life or soul for long. If it survives anything.
Don't know if we have much option.
We don't?
Well, I guess we
Some-
should try and figure out the rules quickly.
You'll hear
Before he
footsteps
tries to get our attention again.
approaching from beneath. And the sound of heavy footfalls, on the stairwell to the attic. Ah. Good. You've arrived, Dinesh says. How was your investigation? He says, across the curtain to you.
Disturbing.
And what did you determine?
Hope died in this room a long time before that woman did.
Anything else?
Thick person is potentially out there.
I don't like to say it aloud.
Are here.
Dinesh will nod. You'll see a silhouette through the curtain, and he will push it aside. For as you say, you don't wish to say it aloud. You'll hear a gruff growl come from the other side of the curtain. Nephandi. Dinesh pulls the curtain aside and reveals the newcomer. A tall, broad-shouldered man with a dark beard beginning to be peppered, well, salted with grey. He pulls off a hat, brushes some of the hair behind his ear, and pushes forward to look at the scene. He's a handsome man in his late 40s. Scars decorate the sides of his cheek and chin, bisecting the beard. He wears a dark coat, a dark suit, and a red cravat, the only splash of color. We call them Nephandi.
I've heard the term, but
My friends, I'd like to introduce you to Lord Macduff, a hunter of those that dwell in the darkness.
Pleasure.
Aye, the pleasure's mine. He tilts his head and looks down. So tell me, have you figured out the rules of the game? And I think that is where we're going to call game tonight.
Right.
So good.
Did you enjoy that? Was that good?
So good.
You see why I was like, this game should be a little shorter, because that scene you don't need anything after that for tonight.
Nope. That's
You
good.
need to end after that to feel it, to sit in it.
That is when
Yeah.
like you're watching the TV show and it does that and then does the and then cuts to black.
Yeah.
And then it's done.
Yeah. Okay, so folks, that is going to be it for tonight. I want to give everybody 4 experience points.
Woo.
Quick reminder that if you have a bunch of channel points right now, you can drop 12. I think it's 12 grand.
Oh,
They
We've
already did it all.
Maxed. We maxed at 3.
Oh, did we? Okay, take
the
7
begi-
experience points.
That
At the
happened
beginning
like within
of
the
game.
first. Yeah.
As soon as you mentioned it.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Okay, so take 7 total.
Okay.
Sweet.
So.
Oh, I'm
For those of you who are not used to old World of Darkness, which this is involved in, experience is expensive. Everything is a multiple in this one, except for the first dot of an ability. So, did you have fun with that?
Yeah.
Can you see why I was like, oh god, I got a content warning the hell out of this episode?
Yes.
Yep.
Like, I don't
Worth
think our friend Taryn's gonna be able to watch this one.
Nope.
Oh,
I don't think
no.
so. Mm-mm.
Although, to be fair, nothing bad. I would say nothing bad has happened to a child. Well, the mother, but the child is probably fine right now, and the kid didn't get squashed by the horses, so that's good.
Yeah.
The implication was there.
The
Oh,
implication.
And I just want to say, Dag Show, sorry that you got stopped from chatting right away. We hadn't changed our settings from when we got hate rated at
Oh,
the
God,
end
I'm
of
sorry.
Extra
Yeah.
Life, so we had put the follower only chat 30-minute thing on to prevent the new follow bot stuff from
Oh,
chatting continually, and we forgot to take it back off. So
Sorry.
I've changed that back.
thank you so much for changing that. I feel bad about that. My apologies. Yeah, we were at the end of our Extra Life charity stream and got hit with like 200 bot followers, and they were spamming all sorts of racial slurs. So I turned it off, and it's just been a few days. So thank you so much for sticking around to. Yeah, so you're participating. So that was something I didn't realize that the ban was happening until I saw Vancouver by Night posting something about it today. So for those of you who are unaware, on September 1st, there is basically a boycott of Twitch for Don't Go on Twitch Day, I think is what it's going to be called, to boycott Twitch not really doing much about the hate raids. Now, we had been slated to start Season 4 of the Shards of Nirn, our D&D homebrew campaign that night. But I'm like 98% sure. I just got to talk with the players. We're probably going to postpone it a week to be in solidarity with the rest of the people. Because while we got raided, it didn't really affect us, but it does really affect people who are targeted by those raids specifically. They particularly like to go after people in the LGBT community, people in marginalized groups, particularly the Black community gets targeted like constantly. Especially with the slurs they use, and we're not about that. We're here to support fellow streamers, so I'm pretty sure we're not going to do anything that night. So sorry about that. If you were waiting for that game, I'll just make it better.
I've been seeing the hashtag Twitch do better is trending a lot recently.
Oh.
Yeah, it is. So I didn't know about that. I'm glad I do now. So sorry that Shards and Nern's probably going to be pushed back a week. But so, folks, I hope you enjoyed this episode of The Devil and the Doves, because the devil's finally starting to show up. So,
I have to say that the thought going through Josephine's mind after all of that spirit stuff was just like, well, she's in a better place now.
Yeah. So
not great how she got there, but
Jen, I loved how much of that you started getting like right off the bat. You're just like, oh yeah. So what did you get right off the bat? You got the symbol.
yeah. As soon as you said sigil, I was like, okay. And then you start describing. I'm like, oh, okay. That sounds like alchemy. And then you posted the picture. I was like, hi, alchemy. How's it going?
Did you recognize the specific symbol? What it represented?
Not off the top of my head, but I had some. I knew there were elemental aspects to it because that's a lot of the triangles and
you got the
stuff like
organs
that.
immediately.
as soon as you said organs, I was like, humors. Okay, great.
I know, right? Well, I had originally had different organs, and because I was doing ones that were much more specific to the elements, in that you would kind of, as you would see them. I don't think of water when I think of a brain, but the humor systems you do. So it was either going to be the lungs or the brain, and I'm like, you know what? It's easier to get the lungs out if I'm already in there. So why would I just crack open the skull for no reason? So the womb was going to be the earth element, but I was like, no, I'm going to use humors because it's the era, and I never get to bring up humors because they're so dumb.
It's true, yeah.
So the other thing that I forgot to mention as you were going there is that, yes, her hair was cut a bit short. And had you cut the stitching on her mouth, you would see that most of her teeth were gone. And had been removed by, it looks like a professional. Which in this day and age meant that she was probably selling them for dentures.
Yeah.
And probably sold her hair and then had it grow out a bit once the baby was showing. So that was kind of there. It was very gross episode. I apologize. It's the Victorian era, and this, infernalism mixed together create awful stuff. But
yeah, no, the moment you start describing her and the looseness of skin, I was like, oh shit, she was pregnant.
Yeah. No,
we
the second
immediately
that
picked up on
happened, I'm
that.
like, oh,
Immediately,
she
I was like,
pregnant.
oh.
well, and I wanted it to thematically link in with like your four women going into this story. What do you represent in Victorian society? That your factories, right?
Yeah.
So the trying pregnancy and that in allows you to. Can you see I'm dealing with the roundabout dealing with toxic masculinity of the era just in the really worst way possible?
I also liked the imagery just because it was reminding me very heavily of that image of the youngest Whitechapel murder.
See, and you've looked into those more closely than I have even, which is impressive. You posted, when we were on break, you posted where you found a bunch of images from it. Feel free to share that with the chat with a disclaimer.
Well, it wasn't so much images as it was a short article on Jack the Ripper. Let me just find.
Thank you, Monkey Soda.
Copy the link.
Oh, and thank you. Obviously.
Which, having looked at a few articles on the site, historics-uk.com, actually seems like they're fairly short, bite-sized chunks of information on a topic, but they seem to do a fairly good job of covering the main part. So it looks like they're actually one of the kind of historical societies of the Historic Society in the UK.
Interesting.
Which is well funded, or fairly well funded in some areas, and actually fairly good at providing lots of information that is well researched.
That's really cool.
So the image of the last, I believe it was at least the youngest Whitechapel murder, because the majority of them were in their 40s, and the youngest was like 25, I think.
Fair.
Yeah, that's what I read.
All right.
But
So
the image is at the bottom.
And
some
did you-
research for next game?
did you four enjoy the awful murder investigation?
Yes. I'm just enjoying that Nephandi are involved.
Already, huh?
I maybe specifically asked for Nephandi. So,
you kind of specifically asked for them, and you don't want marauders in the Victorian era. They're a bit silly.
Yeah.
And marauders are a much better modern age antagonist because magic is so, reality is so, and consensus is just so like, it's just, marauders go against everything that is, and it makes you get more paradox, which is just super rough.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's like, oh yeah, they just have their own bubble of reality, and it's like, meh.
Well, I was reading more of the Victorian age book, and quiet, so magical madness, is a recent phenomenon to them. Like, they're not used to it. So so this will come out shortly, but there's a section of the book right here where they're talking about how with following Whitechapel, there were a string of murders that were hidden from the public. And a couple, like there was a Chakravanti who was blamed for it, one of the Euthanatoi. And they probably would have done something about her had she not been one of the murders. As in, they were about to pin it on her, and then she got killed.
Okay.
And this is what you're walking into right now, is the aftermath of that. But that's for another day. And Monkey Soda loves you, Josephine. So there we go.
Chastity was so tempted to try and look back in time as much as she could, but she's just like, I'm not going to do that.
I prepped for it. I always do. Always prep for it.
She specifically chose not to because she stares at what happened here and she doesn't want to witness how it happened.
Exactly right. Seeing the result was good enough.
Yeah.
So, folks, I'm going to call it here for the night. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Mage the Ascension. We will be back next Saturday night for Chapter 4 to have its own lengthy name. If you like what we do here, be sure to give us a follow if you're not already following us, or a sub if you're over on YouTube. If you want to support the channel, you can give us subscriptions here on Twitch, or better yet, if you want to make sure more of your money makes it to the channel, you can go to patreon.com/dorktales and support the channel directly that way. You can also watch all of our videos multiple times, multiple times, buy merch on TeePublic or Redbubble, and you can also find us on podcast, where I promise more podcasts are being uploaded. Apparently, we're number 58 in the games category in the UK right now. I got an email about that.
Exciting.
So, which is great because I haven't updated in about 3 weeks. Yeah, so like on the list of games, we're number 58. So we run here on Dork Tales about 3 to 4 times a week right now, which is a sane level. You can catch us on Monday night for Call of Cthulhu, which is a brand new game that we're running. And then I guess our next game is going to be Mage. So Monday or Mage. And then we're getting back into our regular routine with some of our games returning, have been on holiday with us. And finally, if you want to do some charitable donations, we do have an Extra Life that we're raising money for sick kids. So go to extralife.org/team/dorktales. And you can donate to your favorite people, or you can hang on to your pennies and, donate in November for our big day. It's going to be great. No Man is rating us. Hello, No Man. Good to see you.
Oh, hello.
I am No Man. All right, so folks, that is actually going to be it for this game. Thank you so much, and we will see you next time. Good night, everybody.